Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know how we do it for you, and let's party. Welcome. Oh, man. As soon as I saw that this was going down, I knew we had to cover our boy, Nick Fuentes on Tucker Carlson. And I'm still in the position where I don't fully understand where he's coming from. I don't fully understand what his thing about ZEE JOOS, I still don't fully get it. But he's clearly a smart kid. He clearly has a lot going for him, and he clearly has an understanding of his own message. And so I can't think of a better person to interview him than Tucker. And like I said, I'm open to hearing more. And let's see. So let's dive right in. As always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
What I do think is bad, just objectively bad and destructive, is the all Jews are guilty, or all anybody is guilty of anything. Because that's just not true. And we don't believe that as Christians. My hero in life is Paul, as you call him, Saint Paul, Saul of Tarsus, a Pharisee, and meets Jesus and becomes this just incredible man, incredibly brave, smart, loving, everything you want to be as a man. He was Jew.
Yeah.
So and God did that to him. So it's you can't, I think that's and I don't think it's mushy liberal bullshit, which I hate. Mm-hmm. And I hate all the language that you're describing. I get why it offends you, because it's code for, I don't really believe what I'm saying.
Right.
I have a PhD in the subject, so I know. But I also think there's a true, not just principle, but spiritual reality that we have to defend, which is God created every person as an individual, not as a group. No woman gave birth to a community. We hate that kind of thinking, right? Collectivist thinking like that.
So, we obviously skipped a bit of the beginning, but we just covered Nick on somewhere else and going through his whole past about what happened with Ben Shapiro and all the tweets and all that stuff. So, I wanted to get into the meat of it, because again, I still do want to understand what is this kid actually saying?
That's identity politics. That's what Dave Rubin engages in. That's why Dave is just a child. You don't pay any attention to Dave because he's shallow. But we're not going to be that, right? Or no?
No, I completely agree with you. And, and not to be that guy and say that thing, but my best friend is a Jewish person. Come on, man. But here's my substantive disagreement, because as a Catholic, I could not agree more with you.
Yes.
In what you're saying. I love all people, even the ones that don't like us. We have to love them all, and we have to recognize that
we're required to.
Yes.
Except ZEE JOOS.
Yes, and especially Aquinas says the Jews are a witness people, and so they actually have special protections under the law, according to Catholic philosophy. But I guess my substantive disagreement, which I've said on the show also, is the idea that neoconservatism and Israel has nothing to do with Jewishness, Jewish identity, the Jewish religion, because clearly the state of Israel and the neocons are deeply motivated by that ethnic identity, and their allegiance to Israel procedes from that. The plan of greater Israel.
I'm with you so far.
The blood and soil nationalism of Israel, it stems from this ethno-religion, which is Judaism.
Well, this is, just BLM, the new version. This is identity politics. They're engaging in identity politics. That's just so obvious to me.
It's the woke right. The woke right. It's the exact same thing as BLM, but for a different thing. That's why it's the woke right. They were the woke left. Nick is the woke right.
Problem in your response, I get what you're saying, but the problem in your response is it does not apply to every individual.
No, and I would never say that.
Okay.
Sure sounds like you do. And fine. Maybe I just have not seen enough context or whatever. But it sure seems like all the people that love you sure seem to make it seem like you think that.
Okay. Well, I just think it's important to say that, not to kind of dodge the accusations against you. My best friends are Jewish. Okay, I agree. Embarrassing, even though it's probably true. And it's true in my case, actually. But whatever. But because just that principle that we're all judged as individuals by what we do, our faith, the decisions that we make, the way we live our lives, and God will judge every one of us in that way. And that's how we're supposed to judge. I think that's true.
Yeah, and I totally agree. But I guess the disagreement is, you say identity politics like it's a bad thing. I think identity is reality.
I mean, there it is right there. Yes, Tucker, I am woke AF. Identity politics is all I'm going to focus on. It's only immutable characteristics that have to do with politics. Come on, bro.
You say identity politics like it's a bad thing. I think identity is reality.
Sure.
Identity is reality.
Okay, identity is reality, not identity politics.
Absolutely. You just can't have a country of 350 million this diverse where it's just like warring ethnicities, because then it's Rwanda soon. And, the people with the most force just kill the others. So, like, you can't have that here, right?
Yeah. But I would say specifically as it pertains to, you, I think, have said it's the neocons. And I think that neoconservatism, where does it arise from? It arises from Jewish leftists who were mugged by reality when they saw the surprise attack in the Yom Kippur War.
So again, maybe he's about to get, in depth with that. But the neocons were what? What are you even talking about? I'm fine. Maybe I'm ignorant, but you're coming out hot. Shout out to Marilyn. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. How are you doing?
Who were mugged by reality, the neocons. And I think that neoconservatism, where does it arise from? It arises.
Shout out to KRAM. Welcome. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to understand. But when you come out with bombshells like that, you can't be mad that people, well, and that's not actually what I think. Again, sure sounds like it. Of course. Thank you for being here, ladies.
And I think that neoconservatism, where does it arise from? It arises from Jewish leftists who were mugged by reality when they saw the surprise attack in the Yom Kippur War.
Yeah, that's a lot of it for sure. But then, like, how do you explain Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and there are a lot like that, John Bolton?
It's the wokeness.
I mean, I've known them all. George W. Bush, like Karl Rove. I mean, all people I know personally who I've seen like be seized by this brain virus, and they're not Jewish. Most of them are self-described Christians, and then the Christian Zionists who are Christian Zionists. Like, what is that?
Right.
And I could just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody. Because like what? Because it's Christian.
Remember when Ted Cruz was on Tucker Show and he's like, "Yeah, the Bible told us that we need to fight for Israel." It's like, wasn't that like the name of somebody in the Bible and not the country of Israel? It's like, no, country of Israel.
Anybody. Because like what? Because it's Christian heresy.
Well, and that I think is the exact reason, Marilyn, why I am doing this. Is because that is my my default is to kind of think the same thing. That like, oh, this is just going to be, more BS, more of the same, or Tucker, buying into new BS that I don't like. But we have to actually see it first. We have to actually see what it is before we judge it. And judge it we will.
And I'm offended by that as a Christian. That's why. So I don't, like, why not? Like, I'm pissed at the neocons, very pissed. I've said that a million times. I've been mad since December of 2003 when I went to Iraq. And so, like, I went and asked straightforward questions to Ted Cruz because that seemed like he was a sitting senator who's like serving for Israel by his own description. He seemed like a worthy target. I'm not going after MTG, who's like the most sincere. Like, why not go after Ted Cruz? I don't understand.
Well, again, with Marjorie, I was a friend of hers, and she spoke at my conference, and then the day after, she pretended like she didn't know me.
Well, again, Nick, does that have anything to do with the type of rhetoric that you use?
And that was in 2022.
But it's a continuum. Like you said yourself, you showed up in college, like one set of views, they evolve as you interact with reality, as the reality itself changes, as like you learn things, you grow, like whatever, people change.
And I think I'm hoping that is the missing piece for Nick, that he's just young. Now, I always forget. I think he's like, let's look it up again. I think he's like 26 now or something. But the fact that he has kind of been in this world. So he's 27. But he's been in this world and he's been this guy since he was 18. That's if you go to the beginning of the podcast, that's really what they're talking about. When he was 18, Ben Shapiro retweeted him and he got the attention of these people and those people and all that stuff. And so he's been on his back foot for the last 10 years, literally. So I understand where he is coming from emotionally, but I don't think that he understands that, yes, you've been aggrieved more than most people, but also people go through stuff. It doesn't make you special. Your ideas have to be what stand on their own. And I think that might be what it is, that he's got some growing up to do.
Well, and look, now that everyone agrees with me, I will graciously forgive them for being
But why
so
make
hostile.
it personal? Like, who cares?
It's not personal for me. Like with Marjorie, if she wanted to, be aligned or whatever, I would totally be on board with her.
But where do you disagree with her?
I don't know, because I don't know what her new views are. She's really only come around on Israel this year, and I've been talking about this issue for 10 years. And
right, okay, all right, you win. But like,
no, but it's not. But it's not like that. It's just
that's it right there. When Tucker's like, okay, well, you win. It's like you just started the sentence with everybody agrees with me now, so that you don't have to be the guy that everybody hates anymore. Maybe you needed that shock value to kind of get on the map, but now that you're here, just chill out and tell us what's good.
she's really only come around on Israel this year, and I've been talking about this issue for 10 years. And
right, okay, all right, you win. But like,
no, but it's not like that. It's just it feels like BS to me that, and I've said this on Twitter the other day. It's like I got treated like I didn't exist.
Right, I get it.
Canceled for 10 years for saying these things, and that's really where all this drama comes from.
Told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Because I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you?
He said it himself. He said it himself. That's where all this drama came from, and that is still what he's been reacting to the entire time. Yeah, they're both feds, right? They're both. Which one's the fed? That was the thumbnail. That you're a fed. No, you're a fed. I don't know. That should be the next poll. Is Nick Fuentes a fed? I think that's a good one.
For 10 years for saying these things. And that's really where all this drama comes from. A time when there was this intense censorship and nobody was on board with this stuff. Like, again, Marjorie, she fired, one of my people was working in her office. She fired that guy because someone found out that a groyper was working in her office.
And again, you say that, but you have to, like, what does that mean? What does that mean to the average person? If you're a white supremacist, or something, and even if the actual views that you hold aren't that bad, that label is going to have a baggage to it, and especially in the world of politics, that's the name of the game.
And that guy got his life ruined, and she pretended like she didn't know me and lied and said I had no idea the conference I was speaking at. She knew exactly what it was, and that's fine. But now that she's on the same page, there's like this expectation, like, okay, well, why did you have a problem with her in the past? It's like, because she was on the other team in the past.
Yeah, well, so was everybody.
And again, more woke BS of my team and your team. I mean, I get what he's saying, but I think I hit the nail on the head. He is stuck in Arrested Development. He's going to be 18. He is still 18. He's 27 years old, but he's 18 up here because he's been stuck in that moment when Ben Shapiro first retweeted him. Shout out to equality and deference because vagina. Send like and share. Oh, thank you so very, very much. You guys know that stuff is free and easy and helps out so very, very much. Quantech doing the same. Welcome, guys. It doesn't even matter if you think anybody can click on the link that you share. Just by you telling the platform that you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. We also got our boy King Nirvana. Very good to see you. Welcome. So we are about an hour in, but I skipped the first 50 minutes because it was almost exactly the same as the last time when we covered Nick, and it was just going over like his past, his biography, all that stuff. So I skipped that. We jumped right into ZEE JOOS. We got a Guamite in the building. Welcome. And then Quality said, I don't think it's woke BS to point out people flip-flopping. That's not really what I was saying. I think that in general, before we got here, what I was saying is that I think he's stuck in this Arrested Development where because all that stuff happened to him when he was 18 and then he blew up, then he's just stuck in that mindset. And so he's got a very big chip on his shoulder and understandable. But now he's just shooting himself in the foot. You're almost 30. Time to grow up. You've gotten past that. You're sitting across the table from Tucker Carlson. People know who you are. People respect you. You're here now. Quit your complaining and tell us what you're going to do about it. All right. Welcome to the party, guys. Let's dive dive right back in.
There's like this expectation, like, okay, well, why did you have a problem with her in the past? It's like, because she was on the other team in the past.
Yeah, well, so was everybody.
Yeah,
I mean,
so now
so are you.
Yeah,
so what? I mean, what? Why not? You want? It's got to be bigger than just like us, right? And it's not. I don't think. Well, I'll speak for myself. I don't feel like I'm at war with the neocons or Israel. It's much bigger than that. It's like you want to restore America to a place where your grandchildren would enjoy growing up. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and as far as Marjorie,
so it's not who cares. You know what I mean? Like, okay, lots.
This is what I'm saying. And yes, again, I've jumped through this and I've heard a couple of different things, but I think this is probably the closest thing that I've nailed down on Nick is that this Arrested Development. He's still 18 in his mind.
Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, okay, lots of people hurt my. If Dave Rubin called me tonight.
Hey, shout out to the Raging Tomato who just joined the Discord server. Well, let me get terms for her. If you are watching, welcome. Don't forget, guys, that link at the top of the chat is our free Discord server. Come on through.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, lots of people hurt my. If Dave Rubin called me tonight, which he would never do, though he has my cell, and said, I'm really sorry I called you Hitler. Like, I didn't mean it. You're raising lots of legitimate questions, which I think I sort of agree with, or I'm thinking about in a deeper way. I'd be like, great.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
And look, Tucker, that's why I'm sitting here, Right. I mean, because we had a contentious dialogue.
Well, I thought you were a Fed.
I thought you were Fed.
You're a Fed. No, you're a Fed. No, you're a Fed.
Who's a Fed?
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed. But whatever, I don't care what people think.
We showed each other a badge as we know well.
No, but I thought you were a Fed because I was like, why not? It's not cucking to say you're not talking about all Jews when you oppose a foreign policy position. It's not. There's nothing liberal about that. It's just true. That's the Christian position. Okay. And
wait, which part? What exactly?
I was like, why not? It's not cucking to say you're not talking about all Jews when you oppose a foreign policy position. It's not. It's
okay. But when you say the Jews, then like what are we talking about?
There's nothing.
Because again, I've always been like, yeah, we have problems with Israel, we have problems with Bibi Netanyahu, problems with our government and the relationship to Israel. Awesome. What does that have to do with Barry the dentist? Just some Jewish guy in New York trying to live his life.
You're not talking about all Jews when you oppose a foreign policy position. It's not. There's nothing liberal about that. It's just true. That's the Christian position. Okay. And two, why are you attacking like the best people and not the worst people?
Well, yeah. I mean, again, he disavowed me for my views on Israel and said I talk too much about white people and Christianity. And to
maybe you talk too much about white people and Christianity.
Me, right. That's like a sincere ideological disagreement.
I get it.
And, same thing with Marjorie. Marjorie fired my guy. She disavowed me. And, and you worked with Blumenthal on that article, but you called me on the phone. And and
again, to clarify that, when I say maybe you talk too much, not that you talk too much about this, so you should stop talking about it. But if you're going to talk about these things, then understand what the, what that's going to do. I have not seen her song On Pearl. I would love to hear that. One of these days.
Worked with Blumenthal on that article, but you called me on the phone, and we talked.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, from my perspective, this is all so stupid and inside baseball and whatever. But for the record, I was like, first of all, who is this kid? I'm working at Fox News. I'm aware there's an internet, but I'm more out of it than you may appreciate. And I'm like, out of nowhere, attacking this one. I had Joe Kent to my house. I did this interview with him, and I'm always in search of a sincere politician. Don't have to agree on everything, but I really believe sincerity is the whole game. If someone's heart is pure, he will be brave. I always have thought that.
And on that note, a new poll: who is more likely to be a Fed, Nick or Tucker? Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party. Very good to see ya. You were looking for a consequence? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I ain't got that kind of bread. Send in your donos. Every single donation comes with a treat for the Overlord. We also got our boy Liberty Plus TV. Welcome. So I tried watching the Daily Wire, and it was more painful than watching the Painovers. Oh my goodness. Welcome. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what they talked about earlier in this episode about the Daily Wire just it's very clear in hindsight that Daily Wire was always going to have this precipitous downfall. I mean, I never really watched them that closely. Like, I liked Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Ben Shapiro, had the name value from back in the day when the SJW leftist tears thing, but I was never watching, their like fireside chats or anything. But yeah, I think it's pretty clear that they were always going to end up here, and it's sad. It is sad. All right, diving back in. Welcome. Really quick, Equality says, I think Nick is more likely to be a Fed simply because he's more outrageous. Well, we're at 50-50. Hit the poll. Let me know.
Turned out to be true. Mark is a perfect example. And that's all that matters. If you're afraid inside, if you're weak inside, you will crumble when it matters.
Mm-hmm.
So I really felt like, wow, Joe, don't agree with him on everything, of course, but I was like, this guy is really sincere. He's like a good person. And then you show up and you're like, he's a CIA officer and he was a CIA contractor, but really crush the guy. And it's like, why, of all people, you agree on 90% of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That was my view. And I was like, well, clearly this kid's a Fed.
Right. But you didn't know the whole story.
I didn't. You're absolutely right.
And look,
So tell us.
Now that, and I'm not trying to be combative. I think
Go ahead. You're not hurt my feelings.
Here's what I'm trying to say is, now that Marjorie is pushing in the right direction, I absolutely support everything she's saying. And I've not been critical of her at all this year.
Yeah.
Because I think that what she's doing is extremely courageous. And I think you're right. She is sincere.
So it sounds like not to put words in your mouth, but your life experience has left you so stung by the Republican establishment. You don't trust anybody, it sounds like.
Well, no, these people attacked me when the rules were different, and now they got better, and now I'm good with them. I'm willing to be good with them, but I think
I'm good. I'm willing to be good with them. I think Fuentes is artificially boosted. I don't think he's a Fed, as in literally a federal agent, but Tucker definitely worked with the CIA. He's basically admitted to it. He said firsthand at Fox, government officially saying what can be said and what can't. Was he really not involved? He towed the line for a long ass time. Very, very true. Quality saying Nick is more outrageous and one of those false flag things. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think anything could surprise me anymore. But if I had to bet, I would go with Nick slightly more, only because of how positively inconsistent Tucker has been, because he was that guy. And if he was going to be that guy, then I don't think he would be this guy. Now, maybe that's the psyop, but I don't know. You never really know. Dylan said, with Fuentes, I can see him being some astroturf influencer. The worst thing about Tucker is that he can be a weird mix of opportunist, has-been, and tinfoil warrior. Well, damn. Tell us how you really feel. Yeah, and I agree with you. And if we stretch, being a Fed to just being artificially inflated, it's definitely Nick. Because I don't think either of them are active agents. But who does the Fed want to see more popular? That should have been the question. And I think the answer is Nick.
And now I'm good with them. I'm willing to be good with them, but I think that I don't know if Marjorie still has a problem with me or not.
I don't know. I do know, though, and this is the last criticism I will level, and it's maybe not even your fault, but I do know that, the coordinated attacks against totally reasonable questions about what's in America's interest and what's not, those are all coordinated by the Israeli government. It's all come to light now. And,
yeah. What does that have to do with Barry the dentist?
And they're against me.
Again, Barry the dentist represents just the average New York Jew who has nothing to do with any of this politics stuff.
I've always thought I have the world's most moderate position on Israel. Don't hate Israel. Just don't want to get involved in their wars. Don't want to pay for this. Don't want to pay for abortion on demand in a foreign country. Sorry.
Is that shit? Me too. Or me neither.
When we're cutting food stamps on our own, that's outrageous. It's not America first. That's my view. I'm not embarrassed of it at all. They are totally determined to take me out, I think because I'm reasonable. Who would disagree with that? And call me all these names, the most dangerous anti-Semite. I'm not even an anti-Semite. And they're not doing that to you because...
They're not calling Nick an anti-Semite? You might want to check your facts there, Tucker.
Right. And they're not doing that to you because this is my view, and that's not necessarily your fault, but because they're like, Fuentes discredits the reasonable people because he's always banging on about the Jews. And so he makes everyone else look like a Nazi. And so it's like he's playing a pretty valuable role in the same way that
he makes everyone else. Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. So that took me a second. But by Nick being so outlandish, then anybody who wants to agree with ideas of Israel can too easily be lumped into the Yahtzee or just Groyper group. And it's just a common sense thing to want to be America first.
Banging on about the Jews. And so he makes everyone else look like a Nazi. And so it's like he's playing a pretty valuable role in the same way that Israel has always funded extremism throughout the Middle East, including Hamas, because it discredits the reasonable people. That's a fact.
Yeah. I would just say I disagree. I mean, because you said the other day, they like me. I don't know what you're talking about when you say that. Because
I got to agree with him there.
I don't know. Let me just kind of rebut that.
By the way, I'm not saying you have anything to do with this. I'm just saying I've noticed the phenomenon.
Totally. And I just reject that because they have been messing with me for my entire adult life. I mean,
the
ADL got me banned on YouTube. The SPLC posted my house on their website.
What do you mean posted your house?
They posted a photo of my house on their website.
How can they do that?
You just take a picture and then you press post. Same way the DoorDash girl posted a picture of dude's junk. Not supposed to. It's illegal. Actually, is doxing technically illegal? Either way, don't do it. Very bad.
They posted a photo of my house on their website.
How can they do that?
I guess that's a free speech thing.
The SPLC posted a picture of your house on their website?
Yes.
When?
In 2022.
Actually?
Yes, they wrote an article.
Actually?
They said Nick Fuentes bought a building in this city. And they said, we interviewed his neighbors and property records reveal this and that. And on the front page, the picture for the article is my house where I live.
That's crazy. And then someone showed up with a gun and tried to kill you at that house?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That was wild.
So that's why I say,
that. And that it was ironically, it was that kind of stuff that started getting me in a position where I was more willing to listen, because when crazy people are trying to be violent to shut somebody down, whether they're right or wrong, they're saying something that's triggering the crazy people, and I want to hear it.
Oh, you say, well, they're not doing this to you. It's like the ZOA, the SPLC, the ADL.
What's the ZOA? The Zionists of America?
The Daily Wire. All these groups have been on me for years. So that's news to me if they're really endorsing my activities.
It could just be my perception. But I guess what I'm saying is, as someone who thinks his own views are like completely reasonable, pass every smell test, you could x-ray my soul. I don't think there's a lot of hate in there. And to the extent that they do make me feel hateful, the people who attack me, I do like say prayers about it. We're not allowed to hate people. As we forgive those who trespass against us. That's like our core prayer. So I just feel like
damn it. The only thing I hate about.
Am I being paranoid?
It's the only thing I don't like about the new the text on the screen is that I had all my banners and everything nice and clean, and now it's like all chunky with one thing at the. I mean, they did move it, so I could move it around a little. But if you see me doing, that's what I'm doing.
I just feel like it's I don't know. Am I being paranoid? I feel like going on about the Jews like helps the neocons. That's
what about my views do you think are unreasonable if yours are reasonable?
Good question.
I think, again, I don't think it's cucky. I think it's reality to say that guilt is not inherited. Blood guilt is bad. One of the reasons that I'm mad about Gaza is because the Israeli position is everyone who lives in Gaza is a terrorist.
Really? The exclamation point is enough? The exclamation point?
Mad about Gaza is because the Israeli position is everyone who lives in Gaza is a terrorist because of how they were born, including the women and the children. That's not a Western view. That's an Eastern view. That's a non-Christian. That's totally incompatible with Christianity and Western civilization. They say, oh, we're the defenders of Western civilization. Not with that attitude. Collective punishment is the enemy of Western civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can, again, taking it away from Jews, this, that, or whatever, the entire reason that we all don't even need to really ask each other, are you for reparations? Are you for affirmative action? Are you for DEI? I mean, no, for very obvious reasons. Shout out to John Castle. Welcome to the party. So have you thought about using your name instead of trolling Christians? Yes, I have, and decided not to do it. Welcome. Dylan said the only things separating Tucker from the likes of Don Lemon and Cuomo are his sizable audience, being in relatively good favor to conservatives, and his memeability. Yeah, but that's what a personality is, Dylan. That's what a media personality is. You have an audience because people are listening because you have something to say. You're in good favor because people like the things that you say, and then the memeability is that charisma. How I mean, I get what you're saying, that they clearly went in different directions, but that is why I wouldn't say that this is the only thing separating these two. I'd say this is a reason why we can separate the likes of Don Lemon and Joy Reid and Tucker Carlson, is because of the fact that he has a sizable audience, that nobody was watching CNN for Don Lemon. People were watching CNN because it was on. People were watching Fox News for Tucker. People weren't watching MSNBC for Joy Reid. They just thought that was the only place to get news. So I hear what you're saying, but I would switch that around a little bit. Let me say, I don't think he understands that he was being made an example of, and that his messaging is artificially boosted and controversial. He probably thinks he's super important, and this just feeds his ego. Wow, the government and corporations are going after me, and people are watching me. I must really be an important figure. I agree. Always, baby. Welcome.
Not with that attitude. You're not. Collective punishment is the...
Oh, sorry, Quality. Missed you here. Said, salutations to both gentlemen in a very polite conversation. True. Quote, guilt is not inherited, Quality says, except the Christian perspective is based on the idea that the entire fucking species is being punished for the crime of two people committed a bazillion years ago. Let me read that again, as the two Christian nationalists sit here at the table and say guilt is not inherited. Equality beautifully says the Christian perspective is based on the idea that the entire fucking species is being punished for the crime or crimes of two people committed a bazillion years ago. Well, damn. Well, damn.
They say, we're the defenders of Western civilization. Not with that attitude. You're not. Collective punishment is the enemy of Western civilization.
Yeah.
And so I hate that attitude. It's genocidal. The current claims that I'm a cancer, from Ben.
Now that Equality's pointed out, yikes. That's a rough one. Yeah, and I'm guessing you're seeing it. I don't know why that went right over my head, but exactly right. God's bigoted towards humans, or at least some of us.
Genocidal. The current claims that I'm a...
Is this supposed to be in my voice? Like, what are you doing here? I don't think you've been around long enough to hear me do that, but if it is, I appreciate it. All right, back up.
That attitude, you're not. Collective punishment is the enemy of Western civilization.
Yeah.
And so I hate that attitude. It's genocidal. The current claims that I'm a cancer, from Ben Shapiro or whatever, we need to be excised from the body of conservatism, is a genocidal position that it basically encourages violence, as they well know. The whole thing I hate. Mm-hmm. So anytime you say a whole group of people is responsible for the sins of some of its members, I'm out.
Yeah.
Are you though? I don't think so. I think you're all bought in. Oh man. Equality. Hats off. I don't know how I didn't see that.
Is responsible for the sins of some of its members. I'm out.
Yeah, but that's not my view.
It's not. Okay. So what are...
I thought you were a Christian, though.
So tell me your views. Rather than... You're one of those people. One of the reasons I wanted to meet you is you're one of those people who is defined by clips.
Yes.
And I'm one of those people also.
Yes.
Right? So I get it. So I'm going to just shut up.
And that's why I want to have the stream with someone like Kelly Green or a Caucasian Vishnu and Guamtech, because I think that while I'm not necessarily someone who is defined by my clips, I am defined in at least in certain contexts by what I don't believe, and I don't like that. I want to be a little bit more specific with what I do believe. And it's been a long time since I've actually, sat down and thought about the specific things. I believe that I kind of just have a worldview that I did take a long time to sit down and work out. But yeah, you gotta do it again. John said, so you get why guys like Jim Bob and Andrew are automatically dismissive. Indian Jesus doesn't hold it against people when they are offended. Off the bat. So I don't hold it against anybody, but people hold it against me. So, I mean, hey, if you're not serious enough about a conversation that you're willing to look past the silly name, and again, not blasphemy, because blasphemy is specifically either completely closing your heart off to God or claiming to be the Messiah when you're not. So I'm just using it's just a moniker. So if that is enough for you to say, oh my goodness, I can't even talk to you, then that's not me being dismissive. That's not me being offended. It just shows me that's not a person worth talking to. Yep, there was that. I mean, hey. Larry said in the Daily Wire thing, I was watching tons of chatters were telling Matt to leave Daily Wire. I think Daily Wire is fucking cooked, especially when Matt Walsh is gone. Yeah, I was just saying, I don't know if you saw, but just before or just as you got here, as I was saying, hindsight is so clear that the Daily Wire was always going to end up here. It's weird that I didn't necessarily see it, but Ben is just, he's a neocon. It's just that simple. They're neocons plus Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh.
Also,
yes.
Right, so I get it. So I'm going to just shut up and you tell me what you actually believe.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I mean, and I appreciate you.
I'll be honest, I'm not too familiar with Jim Bob, but definitely shout out to Rob Noer. And yeah, I mean, I think that's well put. A necessary evil. I don't think he typically is here, there, or whatever to have discussions. I think he's there more to debate and win, which I don't really like. But as said, necessary evil. I mean, that's a whole loaded question. I mean, a lot of things offend me. I mean, the fact when people act like the whole, if you just keep your heart open and your mind open, then maybe one day then God will find you. It will happen. Like that offends me. Do I cry about it? No, but yeah, that's offensive to me. Actually, we aren't being punished for what they did. It's more that we're subject to being punished due to what they opened up the door to, that we can choose to be punishable. Nah, they did it. Oh, I was like, what? I was like, wait, Jordan Peterson left the Daily Wire? Yeah, that was the death nail for Peterson. I forgot that he was even part of the crew. Because then he was kind of moved more into the right wing talking points. When he was always, a right leaning guy, and his positions were cohesive with conservative ideology and stuff. Like his thing was about Christianity. And then, R.I.P. JBP. All right. Let's dive right back in. Oh, I keep missing equality. I'm sorry. Equality for equality. Jim Bob is a bit of an asshat, says equality, who simply plays pedantic games and presupposes. Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of the thing of the necessary evil, where you need to be able to engage with that. But that's not good faith conversation. Like, come on. Guam Tech. That's nonsense, says equality. Let's pull this up because I can't read it from here. My eyes are getting old. So what did Guam Tech say? Yeah, actually, we are being punished by what they did. It's more that we're subject to being punished due to what they opened up the door to, and that we can choose from. That's punishable. And equality said, that's nonsense. God knew everything that was going to happen. Babies didn't do anything to deserve cancer.
Bingo.
True.
And you tell me what you actually believe.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I mean, and I appreciate you saying that, because it's, That's just a reality
You might want to change your mind after you hear the rest of this, brother.
of the media environment we're in. So I don't expect you to know all my views, but I mean, as far as the Jews are concerned, I think that, like I said, you cannot actually
And I mean, if we're gonna play this game, I think putting your face and voice on the internet is a little bit more than your name. There's a lot of people named John Castle. Just saying. You brought it up.
are concerned, I think that, like I said, you cannot actually divorce Israel and the neocons and all those things that you talk about from Jewishness, ethnicity, religion.
Okay, fair. That's a claim. You cannot separate that from Jewishness. What is Jewishness and why can't they be separated?
You cannot actually divorce Israel and the neocons and all those things that you talk about from Jewishness, ethnicity, religion.
Bro, really? Really? You really? I mean, come on. I'm not playing this anymore. Who else? We got John Castle here. We got IMDb. We got John Castle here. We got author John Castle. We got the British Museum. Is this a different author? Different author. I mean, it's a common name, dude. Your name is... Oh, sorry. Yeah. Your name is John. Your name is John. I don't know why you're trying to flex on me.
You cannot actually divorce Israel and the neocons and all those things that you talk about from Jewishness, ethnicity, religion, identity. And let me give you like a perfect example. So you say on your show that we need to treat Israel like any other country. And I sort of understand that in principle because Israel is another foreign country.
Yeah.
But Israel is unlike every other country in the sense that because the Jewish people are in a diaspora all over the world, they're
Okay, go on. I'm not talking about God and his influence on the world. I'm talking about sin and what is punishable. Why should anything be punishable if it is foretold by God?
because the Jewish people are in a diaspora all over the world.
Why not? Why not? Why do Christians get to be rude and other people don't get to be rude?
What?
This is Christian logic, baby. Or is it woke logic?
But Israel is unlike every other country in the sense that because the Jewish people are in a
he's still doing it
diaspora all over the world. There are significant numbers of Jews in Europe, but also in the United States. And because of their unique heritage and story, which is that they're a stateless people, they're unassimilable, they resist assimilation for thousands of years. And I think that's a good thing. And now they have this territory in Israel. There's a deep religious affection for the state. It's bound up in their identity, the story of the Exodus from Egypt, the promise of the land, all these things. So let's say in the United States, for example, somebody like a Sheldon Adelson, he's not Israeli. Is he an ideological neocon? Does he believe in the promise of democratic globalism? I don't think necessarily. His heart is in Israel. And it's because he is a proud Jewish person. And I guess what I'm saying is that if you are a Jewish person in America, you're sort of, and again, it's not because they're born, but it's sort of a rational self-interest politically to say, I'm a minority. I'm a religious ethnic minority. This
shout out to Morgas Hammer. Welcome to the party again. Saying liked and shared. Guys, thank you so very, very much. It really is easy and free, and it does really, really help. Thank you so very, very much. Welcome to the party.
Say, I'm a minority. I'm a religious ethnic minority. This is not really my home. My ancestral home is in Israel. There's like a natural affinity that Jews have for Israel. And I would say on top of that, for the international Jewish community. They're extremely organized. And many of them are critical of Israel or Israel's current government or the project of Israel. But I guess what they have in common, unlike, let's say, like Singapore, for example, is that they have this international community across borders, extremely organized, that is putting the interests of themselves before the interests of their home country. And there's no other country that has a similar arrangement like that. No other country has a strong identity like that, this religious blood and soil conviction, this history of being in the diaspora, stateless, wandering, persecuted.
Is that not the entire Middle East? Is that not the entire Middle East? Like, yeah, if you compare it to Singapore, But what about Afghanistan or Libya or Yemen or something? Like, again, it just feels like, okay, great. You can say, well, we don't have that kind of relationship that we do with Israel. But then talk about Israel. I still don't get it. I still don't get it.
History of being in the diaspora, stateless, wandering, persecuted, and in particular, the historic animosity between the Jewish people and the Europeans. They hate the Romans because the Romans destroyed the temple. That's why Eric Weinstein goes to the Arch of Titus and gives it the finger and takes a picture.
Finger.
We don't think like that as Americans and white people. We don't think about the Roman Empire in 2,000 years ago. They do.
I mean, there was literally a TikTok trend that girls were asking their boyfriends how often they think about the Roman Empire. And it's like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 times a day. And they were like, what? Oh my God, I've never thought about that since history class. So maybe a bad example, but all right.
Americans and white people. We don't think about the Roman Empire in 2,000 years ago. They do.
Wait, you don't think about 2,000 years ago? Wasn't there something kind of big in Christianity that happened about 2,000 years ago? What are we talking about?
Titus and gives it the finger and takes a picture. We don't think like that as Americans and white people. We don't think about the Roman Empire in 2,000 years ago. They do.
Can anybody explain why that makes sense? Why my interpretation of white people and or Christians thinking about the Roman Empire in 2,000 years ago? Why am I wrong there? Liberty said, my family are from Eastern Europe. That part of the world has been conquered, enslaved, and exiled over and over and over again. Every people has similar stories. Why do people think Nick is smart? Because he's willing to say what nobody else will, because nobody else wants to, because it doesn't make any sense. What? Morgell said, I think about the Roman Empire every day and dream about it too. Are you white? You're white, right? So there we go. Debunked.
But we don't think about the Roman Empire in 2,000 years ago. They do. And so I guess that's really, and I don't think that's me saying the Jews. I don't think that's me being hateful. I don't think that's me being collectivist. I think that's understanding that
it's just you being wrong.
Identity politics, whether you love it or hate it, whatever you feel about it, it's a reality that we live in a world of Jews and Christians, of whites and blacks.
This is woke ideology. This is precisely what the woke people say. Everything is black and white. Everything is good or bad. How did we get here? And how is Tucker? I am disappointed in Tucker for not seeing that. I understand why, because of the dogmatic adherence to your ideology. But this is cringe. What are you talking about? We really do live in just Jews and Christians, blacks and whites, and these identities are the most important things that we have to us. What about that is different than the woke left?
It's a reality that we live in a world of Jews and Christians, of whites and blacks. These identities mean something to us and they mean things to each other. And
no, they might mean something to you because you're woke, but to normal people, that doesn't not matter, but it's certainly not the top of the list.
We can't sort of wish them away. And it feels like white people and Christians are the only ones that do that.
There's no question about that, your last point, for sure. One of the reasons they do that is because they've been taught to hate themselves, of course, since the Second World War. Another reason is, however, the reality of a multi-ethnic country requires you to sort of set aside community or group interests in favor of corporate interests, universal interests, national interests. And
I don't know if I disagree, but I'd like to hear that elaborated a little bit more. And Morgas Hammer said, yes, I am white. I would identify as being blacker than Wesley Snipes. So anyone who criticizes me is ultra racist. That's smart. That's smart. Chloe said, you're not wrong, but you should know by now that only a fool looks for logic in religious perspectives. Indeed, you are correct. Indeed. Alex said as to the God knowing everything question. There's a lot of Christians that think hell isn't a punishment, but more of a place you build up to. True hell would be turning your back on God and existence and creating the hell for yourself. Yeah, and Some people think the black suit, Spider-Man suit, is better than the red one.
Universal interests, national interests, and you have to do that or else it doesn't work. And so, I agree those attitudes. I mean, certainly in other parts of the world, people think this way, but you can't have that here. And so it's just important to remind everybody that, things may be generally true, but like, again, they're not always true. And there are people who just strongly disagree. And by the way, in the specific case of Israel, there are a ton of Orthodox who I know who are opposed to the state of Israel. They're just they're more Jewish than Dave Rubin, a lot more, and yet they oppose it. Jeff Sachs is like a wonderful man, who's Jewish and most articulate kind of critic of the state of Israel that I'm aware of.
And so that is, again, a misunderstanding that I have. If you're a graper, if you are Nick Fuentes, then why would you not want to get those people on your team before anybody else? So you can say, hey, see, I'm not an anti-Semite, and not just, oh, my best friend is a Jewish guy. But you actually have a prominent Jewish people co-signing your message. That type of optics matters. Let me say I like Tucker because he used to be a cokehead and doesn't care who it knows. He's the Charlie Sheen of right-wing politics. I'll give that a dilly. I'll give that a dilly. I feel like I want to disagree. I feel like there's somebody who'd just be like, oh, yeah, we weren't thinking of that. But I think you might be right.
Jewish and most articulate kind of critic of the state of Israel that I'm aware of. So, like, I don't know, that's just meaningful. You can't, if everything is inherited, then there's no hope for the continuation of America. Mm-hmm. Do you see that?
Yeah, I don't think it's genetically inherited. And what you're saying about putting aside the tribal interest.
Okay, then how is it inherited? In what facet is it inherited? If it's
I don't think it's genetically inherited. And what you're saying about putting aside the tribal interest for the corporate interest, yes, that's absolutely the case. And that's the only way the country's going to stay together.
Exactly. That's my concern.
And I absolutely agree with you. I would say, though, that...
Well, Hunter's also on the left, but yeah.
The main challenge to that, a big challenge to that.
I'm sure... do you think... Put a one in the chat if you think Hunter Biden, and Charlie Sheen have ever done, we'll just say, drugs together. I mean...
And that's the only way the country's going to stay together.
Exactly. That's my concern.
And I absolutely agree with you. I would say, though, that the main challenge to that, a big challenge to that, is organized Jewry in America. I don't think Bill Ackman is capable of that. I don't think Sheldon.
So again, what does that mean? I don't know what Jewishness means. I don't know what Jewry. I know what jewelry is. What is Jewry? I'm not being obtuse. I literally don't understand what he is referring to. I understand it as a characteristic of Jewish people. But is he what is he talking about? Having a big nose? Is he talking about being cheap? Is he talking about working in certain field? What is it exactly that you mean? And I think these the way that he just kind of throws things out there and expects people to no, well, I didn't mean it like that. How could you think that I meant the words that you heard? That's I think a problem that he needs to overcome, because I'm willing to believe that he doesn't look at a Jewish person and know nothing else about them and assume, oh, that must be bad. I believe that he thinks that way, but he doesn't talk that way. So I can only go by what he says.
Organized Jewry in America. I don't think Bill Ackman is capable of that. I don't think Sheldon Adelson is capable of that. I don't think Yoram Hazony is capable of that, for that matter. And many other, on the right and the left. And I see Jewishness as the common denominator. And you're right. It's not all Jewish people feel the same way. No one would say that, but that does seem to be the common denominator. And I just feel like it needs to be called out explicitly. And I like what you said. The other day, if you're serving in another country's military or have...
Wait, what? He's talking about their in-group preference and anti-Christian religion. But in-group preference... So, okay, but everybody has an in-group preference. And a lot of people are anti-Christian. Why? I mean, I would argue that there is very different, but just as much issues when it comes to in-group preferences and anti-Christianity in Islam than there is with the Jews. Maybe not Israel specifically, but that is my point. So they're not loyal to America. They're loyal to their Jewish community. Okay. I mean, it seems like a blatant racist thing to say, but sure.
Said if the other day,
it's like, yeah, black. Who does? Again, like, this is bad because black people prefer other black people. White people prefer other white people. I mean, I'm Indian. I don't really, again, I just do not think that way. But then if that's the case, everybody has an in-group preference except who knows the exception to the rule? Who knows the exception to the in-group preference? If you think about it for a second, even if you don't know, you can figure it out.
the same way. No one would say that, but that does seem to be the common denominator. And I just feel like it needs to be called out explicitly. And I like what you said. If the other day, if you're serving in another country's military or have dual citizenship, you really can't be a part of this project.
Well, that's an easy one. But I am much more comfortable as a Christian and an American keeping it on that level because, you know, it's easy to just set rules, universal rules that apply to everyone, not just the Jews or the Christians or
yeah, comrade, just set rules for everybody.
What?
Anybody, just like Americans can only serve in the U.S. military or they lose their passport. I mean, I don't know. That's not hard. And I don't know. Why not just say that?
Say what?
That. Why not make every statement about how Americans ought to behave applicable to all Americans? Like, it's the defense of universal values that will hold the country together and the emphasis on parochial group values that will break it apart inevitably.
Because this is a particular issue and it's acute. Like I said, I think they are unique in that way. I think that's a unique issue, especially in the Republican Party, especially in the conservative scene. And you know,
so how would you like this all to be resolved?
Great question. Great question. Something I've never, ever, ever heard from Nick, except, well, exterminate all the... I mean, I know he hasn't said that, but close enough.
And, you know,
so how would you like this all to be resolved?
What I would like is for
Hitler to come back and finish the job.
The U.S. government to not be influenced by these kinds of foreign allegiances, not with money that comes from, you know, American citizens like Sheldon Adelson, not from foreign lobbyists.
Okay, I'm down with that.
So, I mean, in terms of tangible things, I don't think we disagree on any of it, like registering.
So then you have really bad rhetoric. That's all that means. If we all agree and yet everybody seems to hate you, then you have bad rhetoric. What you're trying to do, what the message that you are trying to dispel is not being dispelled accurately. And fine, maybe when you're an 18-year-old kid that doesn't have much of a platform, you can say, you know, people are clipping me out of context and this, that, and the other. You are sitting across from Tucker Carlson. Those days are over. You are here now. So regardless of what you went through, regardless of any of those, your ideas need to stand on their own. And maybe they do, but either we don't know what they are, or you're saying different things than you believe. I'm not even saying he's lying. I'm just saying the rhetoric doesn't match what the message that he's trying to say. If it's such a big focus on Israel, and you know that talking about the Jews is going to muddy the waters, then stop doing it. What does the Jewry of the in-group preference of Barry the dentist matter to that? Why is that a relevant thing?
So, I mean, in terms of tangible things, I don't think we disagree on any of it. Like registering AIPAC and FARA, banning dual citizenship. Like I'm basically in agreement.
I think 80% of the public agrees with those things.
So why does everybody disagree with Nick then? That is the question. If everybody agrees with what Nick actually thinks, then why is he so toxic? The rhetoric. You're saying the wrong words in the wrong order.
Dual citizenship, like I'm basically in agreement.
I think 80% of the public agrees with those things.
So
that's kind of what gets me a little bit annoyed. It's like, these are like America First, the concept. It's the most popular, self-evidently true idea you could have. Like, don't let foreign powers, especially tiny ones far away, control your country. Like, of course not. Everyone agrees with that on both sides.
Yeah.
So the trick is not to let that idea get subverted.
Bingo.
The trick is to not let that idea get subverted and make people think that when you are talking about these things, that what you are actually saying is because somebody is Jewish, they are bad. That is what most people hear when you speak. We talk about this all the time. It doesn't matter if you have the greatest ideas in the world. If you can't get people to understand them, then they are useless. If you can't get people to understand what you actually mean and get on board with you, then your ideas are as useless as your words. Yeah, that's exactly how we opened the show. That he's stuck in Arrested Development. All this stuff happened to him when he was 18. And now 10 years later, he's still that 18-year-old kid in his mind with a chip on his shoulder that everybody is going after. And like Liberty was saying earlier, that, oh, I'm getting so much attention. These foreign governments, it's an inflated ego. And I don't even necessarily blame him. I blame the grown-ass men that are, yeah, this guy's based. Pretty gay.
So the trick is not to let that idea get subverted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think we agree on that.
But it's subverted.
Then stop. Yeah, but it's been subverted.
When they're like, that's hate. No, that's hate. It's not hate.
Yeah. Well, and, here's what I will say. I think that there is increasingly a contingent, because what you're talking about exists. When you say that there are people that legitimately detract from this, there is legitimate racial hatred out there.
Big time.
And it's growing.
No. Are any of them in your audience? I wonder why that might be.
From this, there is legitimate racial hatred out there.
Big time.
And it's growing. And
I know.
People on our side are afraid to talk about it because they know, like you said, they're going to get called a cuck or a squish or whatever. And I agree with
you. What the fuck is this? I actually don't even want to know.
You. The people that are detracting from that need to be called out. And I think there should be no
projection. Nick Fuentes, you are subverting the message, the very clear message that Israel has too much power over the American government by talking about the Jews. Calling you out.
No harbor for cruelty, hatred, prejudice, those kinds of things.
And some of them, I'm sorry to be a conspiracy nut. I really try not to be a conspiracy because it's embarrassing,
Do you though?
No. But after January 6th and just finding out the number of FBI personnel in the crowd, it's like, and I've just seen this. David Duke is a great example. Some of these are the Charlottesville rally.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of feds there being like, we're white supremacists. We hate the blacks. Using the N-word, whatever. It's like, that's not real. Like, there is some of that going on. Don't you think?
Says the two feds sitting across the table from each other. Half joke.
I think that there's a lot of sincere people.
For sure. Oh, I completely agree.
And they're just numbskulls, and some of them are legitimately, they see the opening, that there's legitimate critique of this, and they see an opening to air out their grievances.
In your chat? In your Discord?
They get a license they think it's okay now. And I do think it's important to differentiate and say that fundamentally, I guess the word that I would use, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is reassurance, because I think there's a legitimate, there is a legitimate need to reassure people. And this is kind of what I've been doing on these podcasts, that we don't want to harm anybody. We don't want to kill anybody. We don't want to harm anybody. Right. We just want to put America first. And I guess, to the extent that I've been taken out of context over the years or things like that, I'm trying to set the record straight and say, and I appreciate you've given me this opportunity. These are my real views. I'm not one of those haters.
Like I said, I believe him. But the rhetoric ain't working. Shout out to Nathan. Welcome. Said, I'm not going to riot because I will lose my food stamps because I know a way of getting my food from the wild. Hunting, gardening, good way to get food. Welcome to the party. A lot of people upset that SNAP benefits are not happy about that. Oh no. Oh man. I was just saying the other day how, I always thought that Tatum, was a cool dude, whatever. But every time I've seen him lately, he's been just taking L's. Is this something we can side quest, or is it like a whole podcast? Oh man, I unfortunately do love to see people fall from grace. Character flaw. I'm sorry. I love it.
Given me this opportunity, these are my real views. I'm not one of those haters, let's say.
Yeah, well, I think people should be allowed to describe what they think. I mean, that's like a basic human autonomy question.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are now 1 hour into the show without a donation, so the first filter goes up. Remember, we still got this one that will block even more. So 99 cents will get rid the filter.
Allowed to describe what they think.
Mhm.
I mean, that's like a basic human autonomy question.
Yeah.
Like if I want to know what you think, I should just ask you and let you talk.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
So who's going to be president? Who should be president next?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I actually haven't spent a lot of time thinking about who should be. I've been thinking about who could be. But I don't know.
Who should be president? Well, yay, of course. Kanye.
I mean, come on.
You had dinner with Trump
I did.
and Kanye.
Yes.
What did you think of that?
Yeah, King Rana said Dave made Tatum look like he was being paid to be there on Piers. Was that like super recently, or was that like a weekish or so ago?
It was surreal because those are my two heroes. Those are my two like number one heroes of all time. I've always been a Kanye West fan.
You like the music first?
Yes. The music, the fashion, everything.
Really?
Yes.
You wear those weird one-piece shoes?
I do.
You actually do?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God. Yeezys are so gross.
Absolutely.
Like in public?
Yes. You don't think that's cool?
No, I do. I don't know what I think.
I'll get you some.
I've worn the same clothes since high school. Don't ask me about clothes. I'm not good at that at all. That's hilarious. So you've always been a fan.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
huge
you
fan.
described your love for Trump, like sincere
Yes.
childhood love for Trump. So what was it like to find yourself at dinner with them?
It was funny because it was literally Thanksgiving dinner. It was 3 days before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So not only was it dinner, but I'm having Thanksgiving
What are you grateful for?
dinner with Ye and Trump at the same table. And these are like my heroes. And the way that it went was sort of interesting. Ye is sort of shy. He deeply admires Trump. He loves Trump. And I like that about him because Ye really admires anybody that's an industrialist. He loves builders, visionaries, architects. He's very into that. So he has a deep regard for Trump. And so at the beginning, it was a little awkward because he wouldn't talk. And he was sort of shy.
Yay.
Yes, which is surprising, right? Because
Yeah.
he's so outspoken. But Trump was trying to get him to talk. And
I remember this part. This is a good story, guys.
it was kind of like a boomer moment because Trump was trying to get him to talk about like opportunity zones. He was giving him like the black voter pitch, the black Republican.
Really?
Yeah. And
we've gone over an hour with 0 donations. So 99 cents is all I'm asking, guys.
was like, dude, like he's not that kind of Republican to say the least,
Fair.
at this point, I think people
So
know
what
that.
were you saying?
Well, so eventually, Trump didn't have a lot of luck with him. So he's kind of fielding the table and he's talking to me. And
Trump does like other people to talk.
yes, well, he likes to talk too.
He does, for sure.
He definitely likes to talk, but that's how you learn who people really are. You let them talk.
But he asks questions
Yeah, he does.
more than you would think.
Well, he's a good guy, fundamentally.
Yeah.
He's a very warm guy.
And he's a people person. Like that people want to talk about themselves. So, it makes sense.
So he was asking everybody, what's up and who are you? And we got to talking. And, I guess it was going too well because I was being very complimentary of Trump. And Ye was kind of kicking me and saying like, a couple days prior, we were talking about if Trump and Ye wind up on the debate stage, what is that going to look like? And I was coaching Ye, like, these are his weak areas. Like, this is where we got to attack Trump. And so Ye was like, tell him what you were saying the other day. Tell him what you were saying last night. And I was like, dude, that's our playbook. Like, we don't want to blow up our... and Trump was like, go ahead, don't be bashful. Tell me, what is it? And I said, you know what? I said, I think you're one of the greatest living Americans. I said, I'm a young guy. I said, I really have nothing to say other than thank you. I have nothing but gratitude for what you've done for the country. I said, it's really not my place, to give you advice or correct you. And he said, no, don't be bashful. Tell me. And the story that I brought up was, this was really what sent me. In the first Fox News debate in 2015, in the Republican primary,
Yes.
Bret Baier, the first question said, raise your hand if you will not pledge to support the eventual nominee.
Yes.
And Trump raised his hand. Because that's what he was saying.
Whoopsie.
He said, if I don't win, I'll run independent and I'll make Republicans lose. And so I brought that up and I told that story and I said, I feel like what was inspiring in 16 is that you were willing to let the
Guys, if everybody leaves, I'm just shutting down the stream.
Republican establishment lose. Like you were serious about blowing them up, such that you were not going to say, like Pat Buchanan, who I respect, but Sam Francis acknowledged that was one of his great mistakes, was ultimately endorsing Bush. I said, it showed you were serious. You were playing to win because you said, I will let this Republican Party crash and burn. I want to run as the Republican, but if I can't, I'll run independent. I said, and that's how I knew you were serious. And that's how I knew you were the guy. I said, and I feel like lately, this was right after Ronna McDaniel became the head of the RNC again.
Shout out to the moral felon crew captain, Adam, in the building. So I'll donate, but only for you to switch the picture. All right, fair. Just kidding. Obviously, that will remove it. Welcome. I hate to do it, guys, but like, we gotta get more in the habit. I can't just be streaming 7 hours for free. I can't do it. You might be able to hear that my throat is torn up because I'm trying to do as much as I can for you guys. But this is what I do. Shout out to Adam. Thank you so very, very much.
Dependent. I said, and that's how I knew you were serious. And that's how I knew you were the guy. I said, and I feel like lately, this was right after Ronna McDaniel became the head of the RNC again. I was like, I feel like lately you're just behind all these people. I said, we're not here for Kevin McCarthy. We're not here for Ronna McDaniel or Mitch McConnell. I said, we are here for you. Like, we will die for you. We are loyal to you. I said, and when you did that, that showed you could win. And we rallied. I said,
hey, there he is. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. That's all I'm asking for. Very, very, very much appreciated. He's been so ignored that he's like, oh, fuck you guys, I'm going to sleep. But we gonna give him his treat. Thank you. So very, very much. That's it, guys. You got that change in your fucking couch. Just go through your couch. That's all we asking for. Thank you so very, very much, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Let's get back into it.
McDaniel or Mitch McConnell. I said, we are here for you. Like, we will die for you. We are loyal to you. I said, and when you did that, that showed you could win. And we rallied. I said, so I want to see more like that. I want to see you hit DeSantis, let's say, who was running against him. And he was like, oh, okay. He goes, oh, so you like that? It was right after he called him DeSanctimonious.
Yeah.
I said, that was awesome. You should have kept hitting him. He's like, oh, you like that? He goes, this guy's hardcore. I like this guy. He was saying about.
I hate that I do like the DeSanctimonious nickname because it is cheesy as fuck, but he's a cheesy dude.
I mean, and so I was trying to just get his mojo back, and gas him up a little bit. And so that's how it went between me and him.
And what was Ye saying at this point?
Well, he was
saying all sorts of shit.
beaming with pride. Because Trump turns to him and says, who is this guy? This guy's great. And he was like, right? And I was like, this is amazing.
Do you call your parents from the...
So again, then when we talk about the notion that he has an inflated ego, because not only are big names, politicians, foreign governments focusing on him and just caring at all what he has to do, did anybody like that care about you when you were 18 years old? Probably not. That's going to mess you up.
Guy's great. And he was like, right? And I was like, this is amazing.
Do you call your parents from the parking lot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You'll never believe. Yeah.
I try never to think like, how will this be perceived? It's better just to like be as honest as you can be all the time. And
fair, but something you should think about is how you're being perceived if your livelihood is being perceived. Just saying.
And honest people will respond, agree or disagree, but they'll feel your sincerity and your honesty. But there are always people who are going to like distort it. And I recounted basically the Christian gospel at Charlie Kirk's memorial service, and everyone's like, "You're an anti-Semite." I literally didn't have one thought about Jewish people. It had nothing to do with that. It was whatever.
It's projection. It's the same thing. Like, oh yeah, right. Like, bro, I was not even thinking on that realm. Projection. No, you're an anti-Semite. No, you're an anti-Semite. No, I'm the least racist.
I literally didn't have one thought about Jewish people. It had nothing to do with that. It was whatever. So, but I was thinking about this conversation, which I'm sure I can't imagine what that in the ways that it'll be distorted. But I do hope that people who want to learn what's happening and who you are will watch the whole thing. It's probably naive hope that it won't be reduced to whatever you're saying something naughty and me laughing and see they're both Nazis. I mean, that's going to happen, of course.
I mean, I did skip a good portion of the biographical stuff, but that was specifically to spend the time to focus on the long-form, full context of what he is actually trying to bring to the table. So you're welcome, Nick.
But I'm willing to take that risk because I just think it's important to know you're clearly ascendant. You're enormously talented. You're more talented than I am, for sure, as a talker. So, and they've, there've been a lot of attempts to silence you and it hasn't worked. So my calculation, I'll just be as blunt as I can be, is like, do I want to have Fuentes on? Everyone's gonna be like, but you're a Nazi just like Fuentes. Okay. But then I'm like, I don't think Fuentes is going away.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And one of the because I use this thumbnail, but the other thing I was thinking of was Generation Nick. I was just gonna have a picture of Nick and put Generation Nick because he, like he said, he ain't going anywhere. This man is here to stay.
Ben Shapiro tried to like strangle him in the crib in college, and now he's bigger than ever. So it probably would just be worth hearing what Nick Fuentes thinks. I just want to be transparent about my motives here.
Yeah.
So those are my motives. Let me ask you, I referred earlier to the assassination attempt.
Hey, shout out to Monkey King. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Monkey King of Zealandia with the super sticker. Thank you so very, very much. Morty, 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 Morty. Yummy, yummy, yummy. He's like, oh, more for me, more for me. Indeed, indeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. Am I on holiday? I don't have holiday. I work between 3 different jobs. I am always on call for everything. So nope, I'm just hustling, and very, very much appreciated. Oh, this it'll say it right here. So this is about $1.15. Thank you so very, very much. See, guys, I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot. Thank you so very, very much, and welcome to the party.
Those are my motives. Let me ask you, I referred earlier to the assassination attempt against you, and it's very fashionable, among like the permanent victim class, like every, BLM leader was, oh, they're trying to kill me, or Seth, whatever, from the Babylon Bee, people are trying to kill me, and people.
What happened with him? Like, I mean, we all love Babylon Bee, and then Seth Dillon, I think, just seemed to fall out of favor with people. Did I miss something? I always thought the Babylon Bee was way better than the Onion, even before they went super broke.
Seth, whatever, from the Babylon Bee, people are trying to kill me, and people use threats against them, which are like daily for a lot of us, as a way to kind of make themselves unassailable or immune from criticism, or to attack their enemies. Your words inspired violence. What is stochastic terror? I can't even pronounce it. It's like some academic term, whatever. But you had a real assassination attempt, like an actual one, which got no publicity.
Longest name in the world, Monkey King of Zealandia. Again, thank you so very, very much.
I recall. What happened?
Yeah, well, it was after the election last year. I put out this tweet and I said, your body, my choice on election night. And, I wasn't, look.
Based. I mean, come on.
I'm not going to apologize for it, but I thought it was like it's like a lame joke. It's kind of like the most obvious Trump phrase.
It's a college joke. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
So I had other good jokes that night, but that was like the one that caught on because I just think it captured the imagination of liberals who were like, it's over for us, which it kind of is.
Well, I was going to say, yep, it definitely is.
No, but in some ways. But so I put that out there. I didn't even vote for Trump, but I put that tweet out.
For?
I didn't vote at all. I just recused myself. But that's just what makes it ironic because I became.
So why though? Like, let's dig into that. Your whole thing is politics and how Trump was the great white hope and all that stuff. And then you didn't let's talk about that.
Some ways emblematic of the election, even though I didn't participate. But so it got 100 million impressions on Twitter and people were saying on the news that kids were saying it in school. It was on like the news that in middle schools and high schools, the boys were saying that to the girls, your body, my choice. So it became this thing where it's like, he's creating this toxic environment for women. So the internet lost its mind and people then started posting my address.
Broke the internet.
Line because they were so unhappy with the tweet. And so on TikTok and on Twitter, a screenshot of my address, my phone number, all my personal information, it went viral. And when I say viral, I mean there were multiple tweets that got 20 million views with my whole readout, all my information.
Like your actual address where you spend the night?
Yes, where I live, where I do my show. All of it.
Damn. Did you know that?
Yeah. I started to see it. So the election Tuesday, obviously, it was like Thursday that my address starts blowing up.
So as he goes into this story, I want to make 2 things clear. I'm not victim blaming. I am trying to assess. I'm trying to make observational claims about what I see. All of this stuff falls directly in line with the Arrested Development and self-aggrandizing aggrandizement. It all falls in with that. I mean, I am certainly not asking for it, and I don't think you would be either for yourself. But nobody cares enough about me to try to do that stuff. Thank goodness. It kind of puts you in a higher level than other people who nobody cares.
Yeah, obviously, it was like Thursday that my address starts blowing up. I was going to do a show Friday, and someone shows up to my house. Some weird looking guy shows up to my house and just walks through the yard, walks through the gangway into the backyard, and is just circling my house and then goes away. So we call the cops, me and my producer, and we said, maybe we shouldn't do a show tonight.
Weird.
And that weekend, we hired private security just for the weekend, like 200 people.
You didn't have security?
No, I don't have security. Well, I didn't then.
Of any kind?
I didn't have cameras or anything, even. I had nothing.
Okay.
I was raw dogging it. Yeah, which was not smart, maybe, but
Not quite.
never had a problem like that.
I've always lived that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never have a problem until you got a problem.
But so that weekend, we hired a security guard just to park his car outside the house and monitor things. Literally 200 people came.
To your house?
Yes, not all at once, but one after the other. Driving by, yelling, walking by, throwing eggs. Multiple people threw eggs at my house, ordering pizzas, ordering DoorDash, whatever.
I mean, would you eat any of that? What? Are they really trying to claim this? Heads up, we've detected video on your stream. We cover Tucker all the time. We cover Tucker all the time. I bet you it has something to do with the fact that it's Nick specifically. The feds are coming for us, guys. Let me give it a second, and we'll just here. I'm gonna find something to break this up a little bit. But come on, let me just get rid of the warning here. Give me one sec. I'm fucking pissed. Fucking pissed. Fucking pissed.
So what you're saying, what you mean by fix it is like Charlie Kirk wasn't doing anything that should be fixed. He was out debating people on politics. He's never done anything violent. He's never incited any violence against anybody. You can say in some abstract way that he could be blamed for some crazy person doing something. But if you want to go that route, every single politician can be blamed for that. The fucking Kamala Harris called Trump a fascist. Any violence against a right winger
I'm not saying I didn't blame
that would be stochastic terrorism. I'm just saying that, like, how would we fix?
Oh, look, it's John Castle.
Yes, if what we saw was an escalation into an assassination of somebody that clearly did absolutely nothing wrong.
So Charlie Kirk did incite violence.
Hold on, Mel. Let me.
That's a crime. He's never been charged with that.
Hold on, go ahead, Castle.
I'm not saying that
hold on, Mel.
He caused it.
Go ahead, Castle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. What I was saying is that Trump is the person, and you mentioned politicians. Sure, you can blame people on the left and right. Trump's made statements about Democrats being fascist too, but I'm saying why? Why is he doing that? If you want to blame Jasmine Crockett or whatever, MTG, Ilhan Omar, Lauren Boebert, these are instigators. And at the end of the day, Trump shouldn't be trying to emulate that himself either. I think the president of the United States should be the one trying to get.
There we go. All right. So we might have to switch back to this a couple of times, but you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. All right, let's back up a little bit and dive right back in.
Both sides to stop.
In my house, ordering pizzas, ordering DoorDash.
Oh yeah, I was gonna make a poll. If people were ordering DoorDash to your house like that as a prank, would you eat any of it? I mean, if you're ordering DoorDash, that's going through the system, that's going through the companies. So if someone were to, it would have to be the driver themselves that would like poison the food or mess with the food. I don't know.
You know, whatever, walking through the gangway. It was like a war zone. Like the security guard was yelling at people all night, and it went on all weekend. And then it went on throughout the next week and the next weekend. And it was bad. I got out of my house. I went to a hotel for a week.
Smart.
While this was happening, waited for it to blow over.
Did you do your show from the hotel?
No, I took a week off.
Wow.
Just
Did you announce any of this in public?
No, I had to keep it very.
Why?
I didn't.
So how did you tell people? How did you explain that you're just taking a week off? And there was definitely like on Reddit and 4chan and stuff, people knew this was going on. I would think that would be the best time to go and stream and or maybe you want maybe you don't want to fan the flames. That I'm gonna make a poll. Like I said, I ain't eating that shit.
Wow.
I probably wouldn't either, but it would be tempting.
You announce any of this in public?
No, I had to keep it very.
Why?
I didn't want to track more of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so should Nick... Oh, what the hell did I just do? Hold on. Jesus. Should Nick have streamed during that week? Yes or no? And then tell me why in the chat.
Public?
No, I had to keep it very.
Why?
I didn't want to track more of it.
Yeah.
Because if you say, oh, they're here, then people go, oh, no, we got to keep up the pressure, or turn it up. And people at that time were talking about burning my house down. Like on TikTok, there were viral videos of people saying, we're going to burn his house down. And then they doxed my parents' address. People showed up to my parents' house.
Like he said, if your address is out and they have you everywhere as the enemy, I would not trust anything I did not order it for myself. Yeah, I know, but the temptation, like, oof, I get you some. I mean, whether it's just Wendy's or they send you pizza, I'd be tempted. No, I obviously wouldn't eat it, but I would be tempted.
And then they doxed my parents' address. People showed up to my parents' house. It got really bad, and eventually it just blew over.
That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up that people actually would go that far. Like, I even as fucked up as that is to dox someone and go and harass them at their own home in general, the fact that you would take it further and go to his parents, like, what does that accomplish? What does that accomplish? Now he's on Tucker Carlson. Good job. That worked. Didn't it?
About a month passed. And at that time, so it was like late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh,
I'm a fan.
So when you're wondering why people associate you with bad, it's stuff like that. So fine, maybe you're a history buff and whatever, but you are clearly throwing that out there. It's like, well, Stalin. Oh, I love Stalin. Do you have a specific reason outside of the fact that you both seem to want the gulags? Why? Why are you? And again, this seems very Gen Z, edgelordy type of thing. He's 27 years old. He's 27 years old. Grow up, brother.
And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was an admirer, but we don't need to go into that. I
just brought it up because, I don't understand why people don't like my message.
Okay, let's get back to it. We'll circle back to that.
It was weird because
they don't circle back to it.
The reason I mentioned that, it was almost like, because I woke up that day and I was like, oh, it's December 18th. And I was just very acutely aware of today's a strange day. This is the day that the attempt happened. And so nothing had been happening for weeks at this point. So the election's November 3rd, month and a half has passed. Nobody's coming to my house anymore, rarely. And I'm doing my show like normal. And I'm reaching the end of the show and I see out of the corner of my eye, I get an alert from my Ring doorbell camera that somebody's at the front door.
Shout out to Lil Toes. Welcome to the party. Said I just asked a girl if she trying to fuck. She said no. Gotta shoot your shot, right? That's the only way. You gotta shoot your shot. And interestingly, I do think that Nick, the virgin incel Nick, has some interesting things to say about women and dating and stuff. So if we don't get that far, we'll skip to it because it's interesting to hear from him. It's interesting to hear.
I get an alert from...
And again, maybe he talks about this stuff all the time on a show, but I don't watch a show.
My Ring doorbell camera that somebody's at the front door. And so I'm reading through my super chats. I'm going through live chat
on
messages.
The air.
Yeah, I'm live. And, I'm working through the messages and I'm keeping an eye on it. And I see that this guy has a loaded gun. The guy's...
So I laugh.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Well, so you're live, and you see that there's a guy with a gun outside your door.
Yes. He's got a motorcycle helmet and a backpack. He's got a gun drawn and he's knocking on the door yelling. And the thing is, I didn't want to tip him off that I knew he was there.
This is that's terrible. I cannot imagine. This must have been terrifying.
I didn't want to tip him off that I knew he was there because I thought I don't want him to get the drop on me or something. I just didn't want to give him any information about, because I don't know if he's listening to my show. If I start freaking out or cancel the show, I don't know. Maybe he knows more about my movements inside. So I keep the show going for like a minute and I wrap it up very quickly. I finish the show. My producer comes running in and I say, "Who is that? What's going on?" And he goes, "Oh, I called the cops. They're here. The guy's gone." I said, "Okay, good." So I start getting changed out of my suit and I hear gunshots go off outside.
Damn.
Yeah. And I literally like jumped to the ground because I'm like, I don't know what's happening here.
So again, what I brought up as he started this series of stories, that I'm not trying to victim blame. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a reason to feel this way, but that would lead into the self-importance. Scary. Yeah, that was out everywhere, right? That was scary.
And I literally like jumped to the ground because I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. And
that part was after his stream, though, right? I think he said that, right?
Gone. And he goes to show. My producer comes running in and I say, "Who is that? What's going on?" And he goes, "Oh, I called the cops. They're here. The guy's gone." I said, "Okay, good." So I start getting changed out of my suit and I hear guns.
Yeah, I think he said last year. It was right. Yeah, he said it was around the
shots go off outside.
Damn.
Yeah. And I literally like jumped to the ground because I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. And I step outside for a minute after the dust kind of settles and there's like 10 cop cars all up and down the street and they have the whole block locked down. Police tape everywhere. There's like a dozen cops. Like I said, the whole block is shut down. The alley is shut down. And they go, "Get back inside, get back inside." We have no idea what's going on. We have
active situation.
No idea what happened. And they wouldn't let me or my producer leave until the morning. That's how late they were there. And finally, at the end of the night, after all the cops left, I came out in the very early morning.
Did no one come and explain any of this to you?
No, nobody said anything.
The cops explaining things to people. The cops explaining things to people.
Come on, man.
Like I said, I saw the one with the old lady. All right, let's do a little bit of oh wait, let me get this and that. And we'll do, it's time for a side quest. So let's check. Okay, so Nick Fuentes, let's say old lady. That is okay, we got this one. Let's see what we got from the New York Post. And again, this will help to break things up, so hopefully we won't have to go back and listen to Mel. No sound. We got the guy approaching. Walking through. And thank you for blurring that out, but yes, that is the go. And so this is like he's streaming and he sees this. I saw that. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what to do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would not know what to do. I sure as shit would not be able to like keep it going and as it like you guys would know something was wrong. Ding dong, ding dong. So this is the just like, yo, Nick. Hey, shout out to Box. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you, sir. You're checking out when this dude tried to murder Nick Fuentes and then killed some other people. Okay, so that was the man. Do we have what was this?
What's the story? Apparently, well, what I'm getting is this guy over here made a bad joke online, and now people are targeting his house.
A bad joke. I mean, yeah, no.
Lady, as you know, she came over here, rang the doorbell. Apparently, he sprayed her with mace in the eyes and pushed her down.
Oh, that one. Okay. Is that in here? I remember now. I did see that. So no, it's not in here. Okay, so let's do old lady mace. There we go. So this is this is some lady just showing up at his house. Like, what are you doing? That's the story. Yeah, he did, and that's the story that he's telling right now. Shout out to 2A. All right, so this is the same. We just saw the doorbell cam from the other direction. This is what that guy was pressing.
Hi. Oh my God! What are you doing?
Fuck out of here.
Let's slow it down a little. Get the play-by-play.
Hi.
Got him.
Oh my God! What are you doing?
Fuck out of here.
Fuck around and find out. How did he get the phone? How did the camera get inside? What? Okay, so she's ringing the doorbell.
Hi.
Then he comes out with the mace, right? She's so yeah, she's holding this up. She's seeing she hits the doorbell. We see that. Then he comes out, sprays her.
Hi.
Sprays her.
Oh my God! What are you doing?
Then it looks like there's a little bit of scuffle. Now the phone is on the ground. That looks like grass. Oh, I think you just picked it up and just dropped it. Okay, that makes more sense. God damn. Jesus Christ. Boxer, no need to open the door at all. Just call the cops. Well, as he is telling, that's not really helping the situation. Monkey King says, stand your ground is a human right and must be upheld against these clowns LARPing as anti-fascists. They're the anti-bad guy, good guy club. Yeah, it's she was probably just trying. You're racist. You're bad. You're anti-Semitic. And like, him spraying her is battery. That sounds like straight up self-defense to me. Seems like straight up self-defense to me. So this is how he was explaining that. We'll back it up a little bit. So he said essentially, with the guy with the helmet, he was talking about that situation.
Shut down. Police tape everywhere. There's like a dozen cops. Like I said, the whole block is shut down. The alley is shut down. And they go, get back inside, get back inside. We have no idea what's going on. We have no idea what happened. And they wouldn't let me or my producer leave until the morning. That's how late they were there. And finally, at the end of the night, after all the cops left, I came out in the very early morning.
Did no one come and explain any of this to you?
No, nobody said anything. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
FTP. I'm all for law and order, but FTP.
And finally, I go out in the morning and I asked the guy, oh, okay, what happened? He told me the story. It's what turns out that it's this young guy. He's 23 years old, white nerd, short guy.
Nah, Boxer, to step out and put yourself in a situation you didn't need to be in. He did not open the door with the gunner crossbow guy. Yeah, right. First of all, it should be all right. But the fact of the matter is that's still his property. That's still his property, and he's being harassed. She wasn't leaving. So what do you do? What do you do? Yeah, well, okay, there you go. If you're not a fan of duty retreat, you are in your house, use it. Well, again, but he was, and people were that wasn't a one-time thing. That's I think the crux of it is this is a bingo.
What happened? He told me the story. It's what turns out that it's this young guy. He's 23 years old, white nerd, short guy.
Hey, why we gotta be catching strays for the short guys? But this is the helmet guy he's talking about.
He was at U of I, University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, about 2 hours south of where I live. He killed 3 people earlier in the day. He went to his roommate's house, college roommate's house, killed his roommate, killed the sister, the guy's mother, got in his car and drove directly to my house, parked outside my house, got out a .22 pistol and an automatic crossbow. Weird choice. And he knocked on the door, which is where I saw him. He went around the house. He tried.
I don't know if he's moved. I would assume he does, but he's definitely got full-time security now. But I would assume he's moved.
He tried the back door, tried the front door, and the cops pulled up. He took off running through the gangway, hopped the fence, ran into the neighbor's house. I guess he went into the neighbor's basement because the door was unlocked. He was hiding from the police. He shot 2 of their dogs, which is devastating. He runs back.
What? He killed 2 dogs? We're going John Wick. We're going John Wick.
Their dogs, which is devastating. He runs back outside, and the cops see him. He shoots at the cops. The cops shot him in the face, and he dies on the spot.
What was his motive?
They never told me. To this day, I have no idea.
I would assume to kill him. I mean, call me crazy, but if you have these weapons and you've killed 3 people in that day, and then you go to somebody's house, and then you go somewhere else and kill something else, I think it's fair to assume that he wanted to kill you.
Idea. There's no...
They never told you?
No.
So what contact did you have with the police after this?
They came by about a week later. Illinois State Police came to retrieve the Ring camera footage of the whole incident. And so they had me download that onto a thumb drive. And that's it. I never heard from the cops, never heard from the government.
Not at all?
No, nothing.
A guy comes to murder you. He's murdered 3 other people and 2 dogs. He gets shot to death and no one bothers to tell you anything?
Nope, nothing.
FTP. Now, these are types of things where it's like you could file a FOIA request or for police records and stuff like that. And I get that, maybe that's not the most serious or imminently serious thing that they're dealing with. And so it's like, we've got other stuff going on. The system is fucked. The system is fucked. Like I said, I stepped outside my door to pew at a guy once. It worked out for me, but I did not recommend it. He is lucky, but court was traumatic for me. Yeah, I mean, that is why we want to have freedoms, but understand the weight and responsibility of those freedoms. Great power, this is probably if it's not coming up, they've been blocking stuff like crazy. I love when they delete comments, like comments after the fact, and then someone be like, "Oh, this guy's deleting comments." Like, bro, I promise you, I don't care enough about who you are to delete your comment. I promise you. Obviously, not you guys. I'm talking about randoms. Yeah.
2 dogs. He gets shot to death, and no one bothers to tell you anything.
Nope, nothing.
Let's try it.
Is it really a country at this point?
No.
I mean,
it's ridiculous. And
so, what was his motive? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea. So the story that
YouTube rejected your comment. I just put MFer and then motherfucker and said YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means that they get spam. Sure, they do.
And I read online because obviously the news followed up on this, and they said that so he was like 5'5". He got, I guess he was
even MFer, MFER is blocked. I mean, come on.
So he was like 5'5".
Lucky him. Tall guy.
He got, I guess he was involved with drugs actually with his roommate. They sold drugs together, something like that. They had a falling out over the drug money or something like that. The roommate beat the shit out of him so bad he dropped out of school. He had this major falling out with the roommate, but they were close, had a big falling out. The shooter took him to small claims court over some money. And I guess this guy was just in a downward spiral.
That is why we all need to join the Discord and make sure that we cannot be silenced. We cannot be taken down. If they, anything happens there, we will always have the Discord and especially if something happens there. I don't expect anything to happen there. We keep it, we talk a little bit crazy, but in terms of laws and TOS and stuff, I think we're pretty good. But you can also send me an email at TheIndianJesusOfficial@gmail.com. I promise not to spam you or use it at all unless in the case of an emergency, like if my channel gets nuked or something like that. But it would be amazing. It would be amazing that if that happened, I'd be able to say, hey guys, here's my new channel. Please come check that out. So think about sending me an email saying you love Morty or the Indian Jesus sucks or whatever. TheIndianJesusOfficial@gmail.com.
Court over some money. And I guess this guy was just in a downward spiral. He lost his job. He got in a hit and run crash and ran from the police. Then he was swearing at the cops when they showed up to arrest him. And I guess his life just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I assume he took it out on the roommate and popped off, killed the whole family.
It's horrifying, but how do you fit into that?
So this is just my opinion, speculation. This is like a month after.
He said the mean words.
The Luigi Mangione. He had on and the shooter at my house had on a motorcycle helmet and like a costume. And so I think he was maybe like a copycat of Luigi Mangione. He thought he was going to be like a hero and assassinate some revival.
So what you guys can do is the easiest first thing to try is to just get rid of the vowels. Like that's the that's the first step, and it still may not do it again. MFer was not allowed, but if you put obviously I is I, but ISPLLBDJST, that's going to be easier for me to understand. Another thing, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you are at a certain level of literacy, level of literacy, then as long as the first letter and the last letter of the words that you're reading are in the right order, you can mix up the rest of the letters and you should still be able to completely understand it. I'm going to try and find something with that.
Cat of Luigi Mangione. He thought he was going to be like a hero and assassinate some reviled political figure who was going viral at that time, being hated for that tweet. So I think that might have been the motive, but that's pure speculation. I have no idea.
I mean, it's a well-documented fact that all kinds of bad actors use unstable people for political assassinations, right? It's happened. We know it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think this might be an example of that?
I don't think so, but it's certainly possible. The reason I say I don't think so.
It's kind of funny. I think of you as conspiracy-minded, but you don't have a conspiracy in mind here.
No.
Interesting. But I think that shows that, he's a little bit closer to this. And so with more details, with more information, he doesn't need to be so conspiratorial. You can just be your own thesaurus too. I try to place words with words. Yeah, it's helping you brain power. Bomo's binted. Nope. That ain't gonna work. Well, hold on. I got something for you. Think
of you as conspiracy-minded, but you don't have a conspiracy in mind here.
No, because I really believe that when you look at all these things, and by these things, I mean these like really disturbing instances of violence like Luigi Mangione or Charlie Kirk or these school shootings, there is something going on with these kids. It's nihilism. It's these people that are maybe mentally defective, extremely online. I think there's like a real problem there. And I don't doubt that sometimes these people are involved with maybe a foreign government or they're being groomed or put up to it by an operative. But I think the fans to assume that it's always that ignores that like there's a very real problem of nihilistic, surrealist violence that comes from young people. And, like this guy.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Just replacing I's or I's with ones or fours and A's and that kind of stuff. We know how to do this.
Realistic, surrealist violence that comes from young people. And, like this guy it's a triple homicide out of nowhere. And then he tries to kill me. I think he just went crazy, but I could be wrong.
Describe the circumstances that have led to this violence. Like how does a normal young man go from being a normal young man to being a murderer?
I think.
Okay, great question. But first, before we get to that, let's do a side quest. So I was doing the same thing. Like I said, here, let's shorten the chat. What? Yeah, let's go. Boom. Okay. So, so see if you can read this. It doesn't matter in what order. I haven't read this before. I've not read this before. It just came up. I just was typing it. It just came up right now. So it doesn't matter what order the letters in a word are, only that the first and last letter are in the correct place. The rest can be a total mess, and you can still read it without too much trouble. This shows how the human mind works, or how the human mind reads words as a whole rather than by a letter. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Try to read it. Try to read it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to shout out. Where is it? I'm going to shout out our boy Boggs, who said, Musa. Oh, wait, I forgot we got to get Morty. No, we got to get Morty. Thank you, brother. So very, very much. Where are we? All right, Morty Mort. There you go. A treat for you. Yummy, yummy, yummy. There we go. Thank you. So very, very much. He does love those treats. And I think I might get away without having to do any push-ups tonight. Thank you. Our new co-sponsor of the stream. All right, so yeah, were you able to read this? Were you able to read this or nah? It doesn't matter what order the letters and words are, only that the first and last letter in the correct place. Should I do another one? Crazy, right? Oh, Jesus, hold on. Okay. Thank you again, Box. Some Cold War communication, right? Yeah, that really do be how it is. They're groomed online. Who? The kids that are listening to this? Sorry, no, we were doing a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm not sure exactly what you're responding to. But yeah, first and last letter, and your brain will get it. And what that means is that we're not like when you're learning to read, you sound out words. But once you know the language, you just look at the word, and your brain recognizes the shape of the word. And or I don't know if it's the shape specifically, but the combination. And so you just read it as a whole. Monkey said that's how the whole trans kid exploded out of nowhere. And also IRL bullying by gay teen friends. Saw it happen IRL real time. What do you mean IRL bullying by gay teen friends? You mean like the LGBT kids are bullying the cis kids? Is that what you mean? Hooray for getting Morty treats! See? There you go. There you go. That is how we get around the fucking filters. The commie fucking filters. No, I got it. All right, diving back in. Let's do it.
Young man go from being a normal young man to being a murderer?
I think that it has a lot to do. If you read through all these stories, they always have a few things in common, which is that, and people have pointed this out, this is not new. SSRIs are always a big one.
Of course.
But what that points to is a depressive streak. It's always somebody that is a loner, or socially dislocated, or socially dysfunctional. You know, they don't have many real life friends, engage in real life activities, slip through the cracks. That's always how it starts. Then they get into either they're medicated by a therapist with SSRIs, or they self-medicate, which is extremely common with
very true
alcohol, weed, which is extremely potent now, and you could get THC from like a vape pen, so it's very powerful, very accessible. You know, when I was in high school, my stoner friends would have to like go on a walk to the park and roll a joint. Now with the vape, you can hit that anywhere, I guess.
Of course,
it's very discreet.
Damn right. Okay.
They also do something.
Okay, yeah. So where was it? That's how the Monkey King said that's how the whole trans kid exploded out of nowhere, and also IRL bullying by gay teen friends. I saw it happen in real life, so I was asking about that. And yeah, a female cis was bullied by her gay/trans friend at 15 years old. Like I was saying before on another stream, I don't remember what it was, but we may have been moving the culture war in the right direction, but it is far from over. It is far from over. These kids, they're going to be adults in a few years. They are going to be part of the landscape. So the political landscape, voting wise. So yikes. And that was already 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Jesus Christ. Shout out to Waco Mine. Welcome to the party. Said people can be mean no matter what or who they are. That is the nature of humans. I don't disagree with that, but I think the what we're trying to nail down on is the difference in the type of of bullying and who it's coming from. So like in the 90s, if you're a gay teen, you don't have the social credit to be a bully as easily as you do today, because you've got other people on your time. But what you doing, man? Man, flipped. Okay, maybe not that ghetto. Maybe not that ghetto. Can we rewind 30 seconds? Sure, we can. Boom, 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 boom. Bullying is harder than morals for people. Yep. Is bullying worse after the opioid epidemic? I don't know that there's too much connection, but I don't know. That's a good question. Interesting. All right, so Box asked for 30 seconds.
Or they get into either they're medicated by a therapist with SSRIs, or they self-medicate, which is extremely common with alcohol, weed, which is extremely potent now, and you can get THC from like a vape pen. So it's very powerful, very accessible. When I was in high school, my stoner friends would have to like go on a walk to the park and roll a joint. Now with the vape, you can hit that anywhere, I guess.
Of course.
It's very.
So there you go. So he's asking, what did he miss? And was this not coming up here? Oh my goodness! So it's in the YouTube chat, but it's not up here. That's so weird. So yeah, what I said was his assassination. He was talking about that, or assassination attempt. And then we were talking about these fucking censors. Crazy. All right.
And roll a joint. Now with the vape, you can hit that anywhere, I guess.
Of course.
It's very discreet. They also do psychedelics.
It's a lot younger too.
I think that's a huge part of it. And
how is that a huge part of it?
I think that a lot of them get turned on. They'll do alcohol, marijuana, and then I think they get into psychedelics like LSD or MDMA. And I think those things induce psychosis. These psychoactive drugs, whether it's marijuana by itself or it's LSD, I think they tend to induce psychosis and exacerbate those like existing problems. And basically what happens, I would say that is maybe the next step. And then the other ingredient that...
So before he moves on, Buck said, I don't like calling drinking and smoking self-medicating. Well, it's not drinking and smoking that are self-medicating. It's the purpose you are ingesting these things. I don't think I'm self-medicating because I like to have a few drinks when I stream. I'm not trying to fix a problem by drinking, but I absolutely self-medicate with oh shit. No, oh god damn it. Hold on. I meant to turn the hold on. They asked about ads, and I meant to hit dismiss, but I hit yes. Sorry, where is it? So it's not about the fact that you are drinking or smoking. It's about the notion that monetization. Okay, boom, off. No monetization for you. But guys, remember, 3 streams in a row. If we don't hit the goal, then the ads come back on. It's about the use, how you are using it. I absolutely self-medicate to help myself get to sleep at night with cannabis. Is that bad? Is that horrible? Is that the end of the world? No. But I am medicating myself. So I understand what you're saying, that anybody who is using these substances aren't necessarily self-medicating. But we can't pretend that people are not self-medicating with these things. Mike King said, it's the let's have the lifetime patience for our trans drug. Hey, what? You can't pay for it? Let the taxpayers pay for it. I need another BMW. Thanks, medical professional.
Bingo.
Yep. Got a girl named Molly Holly Hotters just to lick me. Yep. There you go. So self-medicating is fine. But or no, it's not necessarily inherently bad. It's when you're self-medicating with things that you don't know how or what to do with them. And then you're going into addiction. When the confluence of those 3 things, I think, is the issues. So we're on 2 channels side by side, so I don't have to refresh the chat to see if I just spent time on something that didn't post. Smart. Everybody should open a second tab and make sure that your chats go through. Smart man. Like I said, water is psychoactive. Go for a day or 2 without it and see how your brain works. Okay, I get what you're saying, but I think psychoactive means that it has to activate something in your psyche. So I think going without something, like, you know what I mean? Do you guys agree? Shout out to Salvia. Let's see. I'm going to make that a poll. That's an interesting one. We're going to end this one. Should Nick have streamed during that week? Yeah, I agree with you guys. He should have said yes. It seemed like a little bit of a red flag that, if I just go to his house and ring his doorbell with a gun in my hand, then we can get him off the air. But, it's definitely tough to call from my position. All right. Diving back in.
Happens. I would say that is maybe the next step. And then the other ingredient that's always there is, although they don't have a social life in the real world, they have a social life on the internet.
Bingo. These people that are perpetually online. That is bad. And I think it is worse if it's on the phone versus, like, if you're watching TV, that's a different thing than doom scrolling. And so if you have a playlist on YouTube and you're putting it on your TV and you're just watching it like that, like, okay, sure, you could spend your time doing better things. But I don't think that's the same thing as spending all day on TikTok, and you're on TikTok, you're in Discord, you have 3 people, you have this going, you have YouTube on the background, you're in this chat, you're jumping through 7 different streams to get. I don't think that's good, because it has, and they're about to talk about it, this effect where real life kind of falls into the background. And I'm nothing against, social media in general, or getting your social fix from social media. But OD is OD.
And the other ingredient that's always there is, although they don't have a social life in the real world, they have a social life on the internet.
Yes.
And so they're deeply involved in obscure internet forums, Discord, gaming communities. So increasingly, ChatGPT is inducing psychosis. People talk to ChatGPT.
Shout out to, what was her name? Not Kaya. Kaya's Hassan's dog. Oh, the trends just go too quickly. What was her name? The chick who thought that her therapist that she saw on Zoom 3 times fell in love with her and was using, all these tactics to fall in love with her, get her. Weird. ChatGPT was behind all of that.
ChatGPT is inducing psychosis. People talk to ChatGPT all day, all night. And you basically have, between the 3 of these things, they kind of go into like a different world. Between the psychoactive substances, the make-believe reality of the internet, totally disconnected from the real world, I think they enter into like this delusional state. And I think that's where that shooter in Minneapolis, I think that's what that was. I think if Tyler Robinson is found guilty, there's been some interesting screenshots about him and his transgender boyfriend. It's the same story there, if that's true. And I would imagine it was not dissimilar with the guy that showed up and tried to kill me. I think those are always the ingredients that produce that kind of violence.
Makes sense to me. What are you guys saying over here? Salvia is not terrible. Salvia is amazing. I also left this universe, and it was awesome. Definitely would do it again. Definitely don't do it when you drive. Wake Mind said psychoactive properties of mushrooms were used by people thousands of years ago to communicate with and heal their spirits and or deities. Check out the Psychedelic Gospels. Interesting book. I definitely have a reverence for what I believe is reality that you can tap into with whether it is these psychedelic drugs or psychedelic practices. There's things like Kundalini yoga, where people have reported very similar effects of actually taking acid just from doing this type of yoga. Now, obviously, you're not just going to go to a yoga class and sit down and just like be tripping ball. That's not going to happen. These are people who practice and build up the ability to not turn their mind off, but put themselves in that state of being. Because remember, drugs don't do anything that your body can't already do. right? Like, just because Coke is going to speed you up and acid's going to make you see stars and funny colors and stuff, weed's going to make you laugh more. There's nothing that any of those substances can do to your body that your body can't already naturally do. It may not naturally do it, but it is possible that that can happen. So, you know, they're going into, oh, you know, it's a fake reality and these people are getting this and that and that and that and that. I understand where the mentality comes from, but it's so clear that these guys have no idea what actually doing these kinds of drugs is like. It's a little sad, because it would be awesome. It would be awesome for a Tucker Carlson type to trip balls and be like, oh, it's not like drugs like that. It's just not that. I don't know. That would be awesome. Yeah, don't do that. Is this another one? Pickle and tickle. I was trying to catch them all. What? LSD is my favorite psychedelic. Dilly, I said shit. Me too. Grab a couple more here before we dive back in. YouTube is back. It says excellent condition. We're back in excellent condition. Monkey King says, as a creative person, writer/artist, I won't use anything to influence my art or writing. It's something I decided way back in 1994. I'm too possessive of my work and my creativity. Totally fair, not trying to change your mind, but that is precisely what I meant when I said that these drugs can't do anything to your body that your body can't already do. So if you experience, and again, not trying to change your mind, just giving a response. So if you are, writing, if you're writing a story, and because of the fact that you're on these psychedelics, you see things in a different way, and you write a story that you would not have otherwise written, that still came from you. There's nothing in the drug that made your brain think different things. It just opened up different things for your body to do what it already naturally can do. Let me say, I use drugs to connect with the demons who do my art for me. AI. Oh, hey, that's some of my best work. All right, here we go. Diving back in.
If that's true. And I would imagine it was not dissimilar with the guy that showed up and tried to kill me. I think those are always the ingredients that produce that kind of violence.
It's interesting, your audience, as I imagine it, I've never seen any of your numbers. I don't even know how big your audience is. It seems big to me, but I think of them as young men. Mm-hmm. That's the bulk of your audience, right?
Yes.
And yet here you are criticizing weed and video games and the internet, and you work on the internet. You are a creation. I mean, you wouldn't exist without the internet, of course. You didn't get a job at NBC News. So what kind of reaction do you get when you criticize weed, gaming, and the internet to young men?
A lot of them agree with it because they get it. It's their life. A lot of them, that's their life.
I think this is a big, oh wow, really? You guys do? Okay, I guess I'm wrong then. Water is psychoactive, but this is I'm going to ask if you agree or disagree. I think millennials and older tend to have less of an issue with things like I mean, they're going to say it all the time, so whatever. Less of an issue with porn and video games in terms of how much it affects their lives, and thus are less likely to see it as such a huge problem, specifically outside of a religious context. Versus if we go to the younger generations, because they have spent their entire lives online, then I think the problems, because it's obviously not everybody falling down the rabbit hole, but I think it's easier for them to see like, oh, this guy's he's just gooning and gooning and gooning and gooning. That's not good. I think the worse it's gotten, the easier it's been to be able to point out. Shout out to Josie. Welcome to the party. So Nick will be at the Joe Rogan Experience soon. Source, part of the problem. Shout out to Dave Smith. Hey, like I said, I am still open to it. I don't like what he says. I think his ideas are okay. His rhetoric is awful. And I think he is stuck in Arrested Development at 18 because that's how old he was when he's thrust into this world, and he's just been going and going and going and going, has had no time for actual self-reflection in that way. So I'm here for it. And I mean, it does seem like I thought Tucker would be pushing back a lot here, but maybe Joe's the one to do it. Maybe.
Life is, and another thing we didn't even bring up is the porn thing, which is there also. This is their life. Weed, gaming, porn. And I think they know it's bad. I think they know there's like some sense of guilt. And so it's interesting. I would say it's maybe an 80-20 split where 20% say, oh, you're against weed? Not cool, man. It's just a plant. Well, you know, they're very defensive about it, about these addictions. And I think 80% say, I know I have a problem. Like I have a guilty conscience. I know it's bad. I know it's terrible.
Why are you against weed?
Because
good question.
I think that it's compromises the integrity of your mental faculties. I think there's something deeply wrong with that.
Oh, so we should get rid of alcohol too then, Nick?
Maybe
he says yeah.
I'm against alcohol too.
Fair enough. I mean, ironically, I'll give him a dilly-dilly. Fair enough. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. Where are we? Yeah, but that's we'll come back to it because fine. If you don't like, I don't think that's true. I don't agree with that. But another thing for another day.
Wrong with that. When you, I'm against alcohol too. I think it's wrong to numb pain. I think pain is a part of life. I think sobriety is should be experienced. And I think that weed is even worse because I think that one, it's very dangerous. There's a lot of numbers now out of California and Washington that people are going to the hospital for psychosis. People are going crazy.
Yeah, but nothing's actually happening to them. The amount of people, they're freaking out because they're on too much edible, but then they're fine.
Easy because of
it's also more subtle and therefore more insidious. You can't, I've done it. If you have a 12 pack for breakfast, everyone knows. But if you take a hit off the dab pen, nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use it all the time.
Yeah, and
I mean, for me, it's more about such an obsession with ZEE JOOS instead of Israel and Bibi Netanyahu. That's what it is for me. And he's sitting here trying to say, no, it's not all Jews. Obviously, of course. But it's bro, if you can't talk like that and then be mad when people are listening to your words, even if you meant something else, sorry, that's not how language works.
Makes you a loser. It makes you lazy. People that are addicted to weed are not motivated, don't care about anything.
I'm motivated. I care about this.
Other than weed. There's sort of an irony.
I mean, I definitely do care about weed, but
there where I used to hang out with a lot of stoners in high school. I never smoked weed, but all my friends did. And they were so chill and relaxed and didn't care about anything. But if you criticized weed, they would freak out and get extremely defensive.
Yes, I'm not.
That is an irony where you're oh, you're chill as anything.
So chill and relaxed and didn't care about anything. But if you criticized weed, they would freak out and get extremely defensive.
Yes, I've noticed.
Right? If you insinuate that it's addictive, if you say it's a problem,
it absolutely is addictive. Anybody who says that cannabis is not addictive is coping. It is addictive. You will get withdrawal symptoms. It is an addictive substance. Full stop. Is it as addictive as something like nicotine or meth or something like that? No. But it is addictive. I can promise you that.
Get very junkie behavior. And so I've always hated it. I think it's disgusting.
What is porn exactly? Describe.
I don't know, but I know when I see it. Who was that? I mean, I think, filming people, someone doing a sexual act on camera. Why do we need to, well, I don't know. It's hard to define. Not really. Doing sexual stuff on camera is porn.
How available is porn? What is it?
As that is 15 minutes to the end of the show, unless you keep the party raging.
I know what porn is, but you said it's a huge factor in the lives of young men and a bad factor. Why?
Well, this is another thing where it's reality distortion. That's kind of the theme. Just like psychedelics distort reality, just like a kind of internet society is a form of delusion, so is porn. in the sense that, you know, a lot of people maybe don't realize, and we talked about this a little bit, people are getting turned on to porn when they're like 10 years old.
Yeah, and that was shit. I forgot to put up the poll about the millennial and older versus the Gen Z and younger having different perspectives. Because like when I was introduced to this stuff, probably like 13, maybe a little younger, and at that time it was like you either had like a magazine or you would download a photo off of Napster and it would take 25 minutes just to load. So that's a little bit different than, just being able to get gangbangs right in 4K from the time that or before you even know what you're looking at. They're trying to get some words put together over the top of addiction, but dodges a political addiction being forced on people. Ooh, say more on that one. Come on, what do you say more on that? Take Advil. You're distorting reality because you're not in pain anymore. Yeah, that's why I don't like the because then that if we're trying to talk about when you are actually intoxicated, then fitting something like this in, or when caffeine is a drug, yes, but how does that help us talk about this distortion of reality? I mean, you are right. I mean, I'm saying you're wrong. I don't see how that fits in. Shout out to Colby. I can't believe we got Nick and Tucker interview before GTA 6. Oh man. It's never coming out, guys. Welcome to the party. We got 13 and a half minutes, guys.
A little bit. People are getting turned on to porn when they're like 10 years old. And when you are going through puberty, when you're developing your sexual faculties, how could you stay away from that?
Yeah, exactly, Mike. We did not have twerking as a normal thing at 13 years old. He said, I was, however, introduced to it at 8 or 9 years old. Not a good thing for a child's mind. But if you want to talk about chopping off these parts, then that's totally perfect, right?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, and like still that is very early, but I would wonder, what do you think is worse? Being introduced to like not like a legitimate pornographic photo, like a Playboy centerfold at 8 years old, or watching just a standard one-on-one male and female porn video. That we're doing a poll. So which is worse? A picture at 8 years old, or I'm gonna put the video because I just I'll put it an actual man on female P-Hub video. Remember, we got to be careful. This is how I got it. This is how I got a strike before. I'm not gonna say. We'll say actual M on F P-Hub content. That if this gets me a strike, I'm quitting. I'm quitting the whole thing. You know what? I'll spell it wrong. Which is worse? All right. GT6 is gonna be so disappointing. Yeah. Okay. Box said this is normal advice. I agree with. We can try to keep our kids away from it, but not forever. Oh, I agree, but what exactly do you mean? Because like essentially what you're saying, or what it sounds like you're saying, let me not put words in your mouth. It sounds like you're saying that we shouldn't introduce it to kids, but eventually kids will grow up and find out about that. I think that is what we're saying we want to happen. This is a part of life. You do need to know about it, just not when you're a kid. Colby said now kids have smartphones. My first free range of the internet was when I got a PSP. PlayStation Portable. Yep, I remember that. I don't know if I honestly don't know if I ever thought to use it for that. Maybe I didn't have Wi-Fi. I don't know. I don't remember. I definitely had pictures on that shit. But yeah. Oh man. We got 2-1. 2-1. Hit the poll, guys. Which is worse? Seeing a Playboy picture at 8 years old, or actual male on female P-Hub content? Shit. I fucking hold on. We gotta do it again. Wait. I didn't put an age. Stupid. I didn't put the age. Okay, take 2.
Your sexual faculties. How could you stay away from that? Every kid has a phone. Every kid has an iPad, and every iPad and phone is, if you know what it is, loaded up with porn. And it's infinite, and it's ubiquitous, and you can get every kind of it you want, whenever you want. It's in your pocket. And so something that is almost never talked about is that this is a generation that's totally sexually dysfunctional, I think, because of pornography.
I don't disagree. Should it be illegal? Made illegal? I don't think so. I think this is a cultural thing that we need to take care of. So, okay, I fixed it. So the picture, just a regular Playboy picture at 15. Jesus Christ. Regular Playboy picture at 8 years old, or an actual male and female P-Hub content at 15. Which is worse on the brain?
And that's totally sexually dysfunctional, I think, because of pornography. And some people are able to cope with it. Some people don't have a problem.
Nope, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yep, I remember that. Well, I'm saying the chat is wrong about that poll. Well, we didn't, but that one doesn't count because we didn't get a full. I messed it up. Yeah, we remember that. That was a weird thing. Watching Sopranos for the first time, a few months ago, and it's like I know what the Meadow, like I know what she looks like today, but I'm watching her as like a high schooler, and it's weird. But we got to the later seasons. Hey, shout out to Major League Madness. Welcome to the party. Said, does doxing require intent to do or cause harm? What is up, bro? Chillin'. They're trying to take the stream down yet again, but we ride. I would say no. Doxing does not require intent to do or cause harm. I think just putting someone's information, even if it is publicly available information, because like you could search and find a lot of public stuff on people. But I think I have a much wider view of doxing. If you take public information that's not posted somewhere and you put it on X, that's doxing. And I will die on that hill. Welcome to the party, brother.
Pornography. And some people are able to cope with it.
6 minutes left, guys. We just need 99 cents to keep the party raging.
It's functional, I think, because of pornography. And some people are able to cope with it. Some people don't have a problem. But I think a lot of people, and maybe even a small minority, have a serious problem with it. And the
How does
problem,
it make people sexually dysfunctional?
I think that...
Oh, well, we were just talking about distortion of reality. Always said I agree with Nick here. It definitely has affected my relationships, and I was early internet. I can't imagine how cooked these younger men are. But no nut November starts soon, boys. Yeah, I don't do that because I'm a normal person who has a normal interaction with, like, show me a video of a missionary girl that's got some nice titties and whatever once or twice a week, and I'm good. Don't we all?
And the
How does
problem,
it make people sexually dysfunctional?
I think that it's impossible for
you guys are not going to let the party end on this.
a
Please.
real woman to compete with the availability and the novelty of pornography. A real woman, like without getting graphic, she's only one person. And, she
is only one person.
Maybe she wants to do something sexual. Maybe she doesn't.
I mean, I think this is a whole other conversation about how much women get into pornography, just not the visual, again, I've talked about book talk, and I'm not saying people, women don't do it as well, but that shit's wild. That shit's wild. They just have entire TikTok communities of like, we're all gonna watch this. We're all gonna read this smut. Ugh.
You know, maybe she wants to do something sexual, maybe she doesn't. Porn is, you could have 100 different women in one sitting doing anything that whatever niche or idiosyncratic thing a person might be into.
I would just disagree with this because, like, I've had the same habits when I was dating, when I wasn't dating. It's just a normal thing. I mean, it's not I don't see it as a replacement. And that's kind of what I mean, is that I've experienced being in long-term relationships. I've experienced dating. I've experienced cold approaching women and all of that stuff. And so if you're 21 right now, and they're like the club scene and the third spaces thing, if you don't have that, then I can understand, you know, what you're saying. I'm not selling anybody on anything. I am talking about myself and what I do and how I feel about it. 3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes. Come on. 99 cents.
Whatever niche or idiosyncratic thing a person might be into, it's there. And so I think that novelty combined with that availability, it makes it so that, you know, when you think about courting a woman, juice isn't worth the squeeze. And so there's like
a shout out to Monkey King, keeping the party raging. Thank you so very, very much. Hey, teamwork makes the dream work. There we go, puppy. Treat for you. Thank you. All right, that'll buy us another few minutes. Let's keep it riding. Thank you so very, very much, sir.
A woman, juice isn't worth the squeeze. And so there's like also a problem of like erectile dysfunction. People that can't enjoy regular sex because it does not compare to the intensity, the novelty, and the availability of porn. It's hyper stimulation.
Hey,
and so I think
coming through as well with the super sticker, the gay one. I'll take it. Thank you so very, very much. And Morty greatly appreciates it. Thank you guys so very, very much. Let's keep this party raging. Let's grab a couple of these real quick. Isn't a minute? Yup. I had a short on that. I literally had a short on that. Boom. The things I do for y'all? Was that it? No, that wasn't it. Maybe I didn't put it up on. Did I not put it on? Okay, I don't know what it is, but yeah. The Minotaur book. That it literally is like the bestseller right now. And it's because a Minotaur is fucking his bitch. His hairy 7-foot schlong. Everything that Nick is about to say applies to women and book talk as well.
Porn.
Oh, I didn't realize. We're not done. Hold on. Please don't put your finger in my butt. Bingo. I said, me neither. It's not a replacement, but a lot of people don't have the. Well, yes, exactly. So that's again why I'm talking about the difference between the generations, where there is a split with millennial and older. Yes, there's people who are addicted. There's people who have issues with it, but I don't think it's super common that you like that porn is a problem in your life. At the very worst, you know, you may be doing a little too much, but you know that's your vice, and you live your life. I think again when we talk about people who didn't get to experience talking to women in real life, dating women in real life, having sex with women in real life, then I think it can absolutely be a replacement. 100%. Adam said, I turn to the Bible for all my needs. I recommend reading Song of Solomon using your non-dominant hand. Oh, man. The other one, if you're really freaky, remember Lot and his daughters. They were like, hey, daddy's asleep. Let's ride daddy's dick. Yes. Yes, indeed, it is in the Bible. The Indian Jesus is now on OF as only Jesus. Oh, I'll give you dilly dilly for that. It's not even diluted. Dilly dilly to that. Back to Song of Solomon. Right on, Adam. Good for you, bro. That's a good one. Unicorns are cool, just not the rainbows. They ruined it. I'm sorry. They stole the entire visible spectrum of light and ruined it. Kobe said, now the AI boom, boom, it's going to be crazy in a couple years. Here's the thing about that, though. So, like, I'm sure you've heard Tim Pool be like, in 1 year from now, it's going to be indistinguishable. He's been saying that for 3 years. And I think there is something we need to understand about this AI boom is that, yes, it is happening and it's not great. But it's not necessarily going to go exponential like that. In terms of consumer use, there's going to be a lot of uptick and then it's going to plateau for a long time until it's actual AI. Because remember, when we're talking about AI, we're talking about large language models. We're not talking about artificial intelligence. And so the LLMs became super popular, but now that's going to level off. It's not going to be until actual AI. So depending on when that's going to be, agreed, but you know. Oh, this one. 5 kids in 15 years. I'll be down to have more kids, but I want to be a single dad. I need a surrogate womb. Hey. They are powerful. Major League Manda said, watch this. I disagreed. I got over it, and we kept the convo going. Dilly on. Dilly, sir. All right, a couple more. Let's not back in here. Monkey King said, it's crazy now. There was a dude who was arrested for using kids.
Haram.
This is why we can't have nice things. I don't care about AI. Your enemy is agreed. Your enemy is still the government and sick fucks like Bill Gates. Absolutely. Yeah, it is going to get better and better. And here's the thing. People are going to stop caring. They're going to be like, I know this is AI, but it's what I want to see. Like, take it out of the weird thing. Let's say we can get somebody who is, let's say we can, we use that, what is it, Soma or whatever it is. What if we could rewrite the Game of Thrones from seasons 6, 7, and 8, and then actually make it 12 seasons, 12 full seasons, and it actually does well? Are you really going to care that it's AI? You're going to tell me you're not going to watch that? You're going to watch that. Said, I'm friends with, I have a friend with daddy issues, the Noah moment with his son. It's mistranslated in the Bible as he saw his nakedness, but that's not what he did to get him marked. That one's a little over my head. So let's jump back in here. Thank you again for keeping the party raging, guys. Very much appreciated.
Does not compare to the intensity, the novelty, and the availability of porn. It's hyper stimulation. And so I think that's sabotaging a lot of normal sexual relationships.
It seems like it's making a lot of people gay too.
Yeah, and trans.
You think that's true?
100%.
What is?
So again, because of my own experiences using this type of content, like I'm still into the same thing that I was when high-speed internet came out and I got to see it for the first time. Like I said, I just want some basic missionary. I'm a titty man, so give me some basic missionary, maybe a little riding. I want to see from the back a little bit, but then we're good. If you're somebody who needs 12 different videos set up and ready to go, and keeping them all playing so you can go from this tab to that tab, to that tab, to that tab, to that tab. Yeah. Then I understand why maybe you're like, let's see what the chick with the dick's got to say. But just like everything else we talk about, everything else we talk about. Moderation. It is a tool. It is a tool. And if we're using it appropriately or responsibly, rather, then you ain't going to have these issues. Larry said, someone paying attention to the AI progress, things are really good. That AI slop is not even close to the best. There are no upscaling programs to add real textures. It's indistinguishable. Yep. I'm not saying it's not scary. I'm just saying, I was just adding that other factoid. It's definitely scary. What is it? Game of Thrones, 12 seasons, 50%. There we go, bro. 2 in 1. 2 birds with 1 stone. You saying you're going to watch that because you know it's AI? We definitely. Just saying, people do not know their Bible. Bingo. Yep. It is indeed okay to be gay, just not on me. Don't do your gay on me. All right, let's dive back in here.
A lot of people gay too.
Yeah, and trans.
You think that's true?
100%.
What is that?
I think that the novelty is a huge part of that. I think that if you are somebody that uses pornography multiple times per day, which many people do,
actually,
oh, absolutely,
that's a lot of jerking off.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna. Hey, I put it all out there for you guys. I've had I mean, not commonly, but there have been more than one days where I've done it twice, and I felt bad about myself. I was like, I'm not doing it. Even if I go 2 days in a row, sometimes I'm like, But I honestly, like, I'm doing a lot of stuff in my life. I don't really think about sex like that often. And maybe that's a problem in and of itself as a 35-year-old man who's not married, but.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a lot of jerking off.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And, if you're doing that multiple times a day, every day for years, since you're a kid, well, eventually you get bored and you want to move on to something more extreme. And you're kind of, it operates, I think, similar to like a drug. You kind of have the same kind of resistance to it that you would to a drug, or a tolerance for it. And you're always chasing that initial feeling the first time you used it, or the first time you saw a certain thing. And I think eventually you just chase more taboo, more transgressive. And I think maybe some people are more prone to that than other people going in a really extreme direction.
Definitely. There's definitely I don't know if it's necessarily genetic, but there definitely is a, like it's part of your nature. It's part of your inherent characteristics. And I think some people are more prone to that than others.
Some people are more prone to that than other people going in a really extreme direction.
How Charlie Sheen got AIDS, actually.
Yeah.
Through just being jaded and looking for something more transgressive. That's just a fact.
And there's something too about what it does when you look at it. Because people don't realize that it is a fundamentally different experience being involved in intercourse versus watching other people have intercourse. And I think that actually does something to you.
Tell me, what do you mean?
I think that, for example.
So, okay, Tucker, like, I love that you're digging into this stuff, but why couldn't you give me a, what do you mean, when he was talking about the Jewry? Where was the pushback and the interest and the questions then?
I think Steve Saylor has written about this, that there's multiple kinds of transsexuals. And he says that one kind of transsexual is somebody that likes the idea of seeing themselves as a woman, is autogynephilia.
Yes.
And I think that, one of the theories for that is you watch a man having sex with a woman that isn't you so much, you kind of achieve an identity with the woman in like a weird, sick way. You almost identify with the woman. And so there's weird things that happen when you're...
Yes.
I mean, like what I meant to say when they brought up the trans thing is that I don't necessarily see that, but over time I start to understand with the younger kids and how much exposure they have to it and how little exposure they have to real life. How the fuck do you spell your last name, motherfucker? Hold on. Thank you again to all of our donations, guys. We are already one third of the way to the goal. $10, 10 different super chats. I got to do push-ups, and Morty gets a special treat. Let's make it happen. Mox said, I would like to take up gambling. I'm pretty good at blackjack, but they always kick me out. that I have a friend who I worked with in a restaurant where, when I was in the midst, maybe not the midst, but I was still in active addiction. And he was somebody who had been through gambling addiction and opioid addiction. And he told me that between the two of them, that the gambling addiction was a way worse than the opioid addiction. And like, I kind of get it, but having not been a gambling addict, I don't really get it. But it's almost like if you're addicted to something that's not illegal and you can just go to a place and engage in your vice, then, it's not going to be as good for you than if you have to go to the hood and do shady shit and eventually come to terms with yourself. Either I'm going to be this person or I can't be doing this anymore. So basically what he's describing here is how the MILF videos from 10 years ago switched to stepmom videos and just evolves to be more taboo. Yep. I mean, you ain't wrong. Major League Magnus said maybe he's saying we don't still blame modern day Rome. See, white people think, well, actually, I don't know if you're white, but people think about Rome all the time. Except that people don't think about Rome, and they don't think about 2,000 years ago. Christians, what do you mean? Maybe, though. Maybe. All right. Yeah, have it back in.
Identify with the woman. And so there's weird things that happen when you're watching that and having such strong emotional and sexual experiences with it.
That's fascinating. I've sensed for a long time, having had a lot of young male employees mention porn as a problem. I mean, the big...
So again, I would love to know specifically how old they are. Are they under or over 30? I would guess, just based on my own theory here, that those would be men under 30.
A lot of young male employees mention porn as a problem. I mean, the big porn companies give visibility to foreign intel services.
The sounds and visuals of machines. You can still hear and dream of it while sleeping. Cigarettes, weed, alcohol did not do that for me. Yeah, definitely not me either. We said with gambling, you have the chance to not lose. Well, one of the most recent... what is happening? Did you just see my camera shaking like crazy? What just happened? That was weird. Anyway, one of the most recent discoveries, I guess you could say, about gambling addiction is that people are not as much addicted to winning as they are addicted to the rush of losing. Come on. They're addicted to the rush of losing because, yes, there's a dopamine hit when you win, but that dissipates very quickly. And subconsciously, when you lose, then you get all this adrenaline running and all this, like, oh, I got to get it back. That feeling, especially if that's capped off with winning again. So it's the process itself of being in a losing spot and coming and coming back. That is the crux of the addiction, according to people. I don't know. Fact check it. Somebody said a close family friend sold her house and lost all her money. Her husband, and then her kids left. She self-deleted. Yikes. Gambling is, during COVID, I was literally deciding, what am I going to do with my COVID money? I could either start investing, or I could, this was my UFC days. I was like, I could start betting on UFC. I feel like I've been doing, real good lately with my picks. I was this close to signing up with DraftKings or whatever it was. And I was like, you know what? Let me just do a little bit of research. And that was when I first learned about, like, I obviously knew what Bitcoin and crypto was, but like I actually learned about the process and I was like, oh, I'm doing that. One of the best decisions I probably have ever made. We all got COVID money. What do you mean? Remember Money Printer Gobert? There you go. There you go.
The big porn companies give visibility to foreign intel services on the back end. So that means people know what you're looking at. There's likely video and audio of you watching.
Remember when people were complaining about China getting information from TikTok? They already got it.
So that, that's like so so such a deal killer for me. Not a huge expert on the topic, but I have always sensed this was a huge deal, but I've always been too embarrassed to like do a show on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like you're describing something that's everywhere, that affects everybody, and that is, do you think it's related to the huge decline in like actual sex and relationships and marriage, screwed up dating?
Absolutely.
All of this derives in part from porn, do you think?
I think it's a huge part of it. It's a huge fact.
Bro, are you telling me you didn't know that the government was watching you jerk?
And it's even on the other side too. It's become so destigmatized for women to actually participate in porn. People don't even recognize that OnlyFans.
Let's make a bet.
Is a whole separate category. It's an innovation in the realm of pornography, because you have what everyone knows as porn, which is like videos of porn stars, like dedicated career sex workers having sex.
That's another thing. They're about to go further into it. But the difference between what porn actually means.
In a relatively controlled environment or something like that. But then you get OnlyFans, which is like Patreon for nudes or sex. And basically, there's now a very large subculture, much larger than people want to admit, of women who the moment they turn 18, that is what they do, is they make an OnlyFans account and they become an amateur porn star. And it is completely casual. Because you could say that maybe 10.
All right, guys, it's anonymous, so be honest. We're trying to have a real conversation here. The poll is, do you have the OF app on any of your devices? Have you, or like even visiting the website counts? Is there a website? I don't know if it's just an app or whatever, but like a desktop counts. That's a device. Have you ever even downloaded it or opened it?
It is completely casual, because you could say that maybe 10 years ago, even at the heyday of internet porn, to be in porn, you got to be a porn star. Like that's your life and that's your career and that's who you are. And it's very shameful. With OnlyFans, it's like having a TikTok. It's like, here's my link tree. Here's my Instagram account. Here's my Facebook account. Here's my YouTube. And here's my OnlyFans.
Why would any of this be legal?
I mean, I'm not. Again, I am for liberty, and I am for the strength of community. I don't want to export all of our morality to daddy government.
I think that, there's, like you indicated, maybe there's an intelligence benefit to that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a political benefit to that. I think that.
Well, why wouldn't you arrest the people who run something like that?
That's what I don't understand, Multos. Like, if anybody didn't know, the hub is free.
It should be. If you had a Christian government.
Or how about just a government that cares about its people? I mean, is Iran a bigger threat or is OnlyFans? So, Iran's not turning my daughters to prostitution.
Right.
That's a tough question. What is a bigger threat? I mean, obviously, the threat that Iran poses is a bigger threat because we would die. But that's only if that happens. That sucks. But VPN, bro. I mean, they're not nothing, but it is a good question. It is a good question about I mean, there's millions of individual young girls and older girls doing this. And so collectively, that does seem like at least a more imminent threat. Side quest for what? For what? Monkey said Islam also RPs boys and turns them into girls because they can pretend they are pure for Allah.
Haram!
Bruh. Islam
Haram!
is the worst thing ever. Come on, we still got this warning. Yeah, Box. I mean, we definitely could use a side quest. So are you asking for something specific or not? Oh, we're back. We're good.
Is Iran a bigger threat or is OnlyFans? Iran's not turning my daughters to prostitution that I'm aware of.
Right.
right? I mean, that seems like one of the worst things that could happen to any society.
We said, I don't know. OF basically created a sure registry for us. Now we know who to avoid. It's actually perfect. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
So how big is the support for that? Like if a candidate were to come out and say, we ought to arrest the guys who own MindGeek, which is the biggest, I think it's the biggest porn supplier in the world, or the guys who...
How did you know that? Just off the rip.
The guys who own MindGeek, which is the biggest, I think it's the biggest porn supplier in the world, or the guys who run OnlyFans. What would the reaction be among, I don't know, people under 50?
I think there would be broad support for that.
Really?
I do, actually, yes.
I hope someone will say that. And
someone needs to.
I hope someone arrests them, like right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's he's talking about arresting who specifically? Hold on.
Or the guys who run OnlyFans. What would the reaction be among, I don't know, people under 50?
I think there would be broad support.
Sorry, one more.
Like if a candidate were to come out and say, we ought to arrest the guys who own MindGeek.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? You have a legal business, and just because you don't like it, then now we're going to arrest people. What are we doing? What are we doing? Come on. This shows a weakness in your the confidence that you have in your own rhetoric, that you need to have daddy government say, nah, instead of your amazing Christian values being able to spread throughout society and have people not want to spend all day gooning. He said, I think it's Iran, but it may be some other Middle Eastern state. But they lead the world in trans because it's illegal to be gay. Yep. I don't fully understand what Roblox is, but I do remember I did see a thing about about this. They didn't do anything about child predators on their site when they were told who they were by actual kids and players. Not only that, but there was like pred catchers. So like, you know how people do gaming stuff on YouTube. Like you guys know that better than me. And there were these pred catchers where they pretend to be a young boy or a young girl. They try to entrap these people, and they sent that information to the Roblox people. And this is what Monkey's talking about. Not only did they not do anything about it, they banned the pred catcher. They banned the pred catcher.
What?
What do we do with that? Liberty Plus said, arresting someone profiting off kids buying nude pictures. I would support that. Obviously, a lot of users are kids. Well, right, but then you're talking about the verification system. And look, we don't have to pretend that anybody thinks that OF is good for society. But talking about arresting people who have built a business because you don't like the business, that's not American. That's not American. What other type of business that doesn't directly cause harm? Do we just say, oh, well, it's kind of not doing good for society, so it's banned, and we want to arrest the people who are currently legally running their business? Yeah, the kids are being targeted, and they didn't care. They didn't care. They banned the other guy. Who said, if you can prove there are kids using a P-Hub platform, it should be shut down, right? Yes. That I agree with. Because at the end of the day, if you have bad parents and you're 15 years old and you can maneuver whatever to get that stuff, that is a failure of parenting, not a failure of the free market, and certainly not something that deserves somebody being arrested. Definitely. I'm not saying it's not. That's not what we're talking about, though. You're talking about prohibition. I'm talking about regulation.
How big is the support for that? Like if a candidate were to come out and say, we ought to arrest the guys who own MindGeek, which is the biggest, I think it's the biggest porn supplier in the world, or the guys who run OnlyFans, what would the reaction be among, I don't know, people under 50?
I think there would be broad support for that.
Really?
I do, actually, yes.
I hope someone will say that. And
And I don't even disagree that there would be large support, but I personally would not support it.
I hope someone arrests them like right away.
Yeah.
Again, that's so far. That's so far.
That was actually
seizes
one of
their assets and puts them in prison.
Seizes.
And Nick, your whole thing is, oh, poor me. I've been debanked and this and that and that. I'm just using my freedom of speech, my freedom of expression. But arrest them for using theirs because I don't like how it does. Do we have principles or do we have positions? Do we have principles or do we just have positions?
Like right away.
Their bodies. It puts them in jail. Yeah, I mean.
The owners of that, people who are, I mean, talk about human trafficking.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I thought we were against human trafficking.
Yeah, we are. So when we have instances of that, then we treat that as that. Not when not that. It's kind of like that, but a different thing.
Yeah.
Well, but you think that young people, because you always think of young people as so liberal, but like, no, they wouldn't think that was crazy?
No,
not the Zoomers.
I think especially among young men, they know it's a problem. It's ruining their lives. And they know it.
And again, going back to the idea that if you're a millennial or older, the chances that is your experience with P-Hub content, I think, is going to be much lower than the chances of if you're Gen Alpha or Gen Z, and you would have that negative experience.
So what are the other factors that prevent, I'm sorry I called you gay, by the way.
Oh, my goodness. All right, guys, we are coming up on the 3 hours. Let's keep the party raging.
But I think I'm just too old or something. I'm like, why is anyone married? You tell me, why aren't people married?
Damn, I'm 8 years older than them and not married. God damn, am I gay?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's the women. The women are extremely liberal. No one talks about that. They're increasingly they do, especially after the last election. There's a 45-point difference.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, guys, he gets into it. This is the part that I agreed with the most. So I would love to have more than another 2.5 minutes with you guys.
Between men and women. The men are extremely conservative, increasingly. The women are extremely liberal.
What are they liberal on? What issues? Like, what does that mean, liberal?
Oh, they're very feminist.
Like, actually?
Mm-hmm. Extremely feminist, yes.
They don't believe that, do they?
I think they do.
Really?
Absolutely,
yes.
I
believe that.
I think
gender roles are a construct, that none of this is inborn? Like,
brainwashing, wokeism, propaganda.
You'd have to be an idiot to think that.
They like the idea of it.
Well, again, what do we say about dogma? Dogma supersedes intelligence. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If you have a dogma, you are going to follow that over your rational mind. Yeah, fucking is legal. Selling is legal. Selling fucking is not legal. That's November 4th. I'm going to be having that debate on Speakeasy. Come and see what's good. Shame is great, and regret. Yeah, remorse at least. I think there is. Liberty saying we need to bring shame back. Absolutely. I think that is specifically what I'm talking about when I'm saying that we don't want to outsource that stuff to the government. Because then it's like, okay, I don't need to have an opinion on ass traffickers because the government is going to take care of that. See how that doesn't really fit? So if you just make OF illegal, it's like, okay, I don't need to worry about young girls making money from selling their pictures and videos of their body because we arrested those guys.
What?
That's not how this works. That's not how this works.
They like because of course I think all women naturally want strong men.
Of course, obviously.
They naturally want a Chad. You know, they want like a tall, buff guy. But I think they like the idea of none of them want to work either. None of them actually want to work.
That's what I'm saying. Of course, right. It's obviously true. It's always been true.
And there you go. So none of them want to work, yet all of them are pushing to be, boss babe, and work so hard and get the bag. It is the dogma. They have been brainwashed to think that this is how you achieve happiness. And so it doesn't matter that they're rich and getting ran through and depressed because they're doing the things. They're checking off the boxes. That's 3 hours, guys. I will give you another 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Of course, that's right. Obviously true. It's always been true. Work outside the home.
Right.
They don't have enough work at home. There's a lot to do. But no, I completely agree. So that's why I question like they're feminists in what sense?
Yes. And, you know, they like these vague appeals to equality. We want a chance to work and we want respect. And, you know, ultimately, I think the whole political system is just based around women never being accountable for any of their choices. Ultimately, that seems to be that's what abortion is.
Yeah, of course.
Because 99% of abortions are elective. So they say it's an unplanned pregnancy. You had sex out of wedlock with someone you didn't intend to have kids with. So now we have to kill the kids in the womb. And, you know, these no-fault divorce laws. These women get married to guys maybe they never intend to stay with. And then when they're out, they're done. And they want child support and they want half the stuff. And I think a lot of men are looking at women and they're very liberal. They're overweight. They have a very high estimation of themselves. I think that people call it hoflation.
Hoflation?
Yes, their sense of their own looks and sexual value is very inflated.
Is that what we're doing here? Am I giving up on you? I want to believe in you. I'm giving you the 2
A lot
minutes.
of people are looking at these like frumpy, obnoxious, loudmouth, liberal women who are also very promiscuous and saying this.
Oh, yeah. So the question before about who doesn't have the in-group preference is liberal white women. They prefer black people. They actually don't, but they think that's what they're supposed to do. So when they're taking something that they know is about that, then they're going to go with that.
This is not actually appealing at all. And I don't want to start a family with a person
Sounds
like
awful.
this. Yeah, it is.
But if you believe in the patriarchy, as I fervently do, because it's just reality, you know, we didn't choose the system. We were born into a system that is part of nature. Can't get out of it. So if you believe that that's true, which it is, then you think that men should lead. And if it's going to be better, men should make it better because that's their job.
Right.
So you don't want to give them a pass, do you? It'd be like, it's all the girls suck. So
I don't even blame it on the women because I think that it's the incentive structures. You know, women.
All right, we're getting another warning. I don't think anybody is going to add anything else. So we will call it there. You know, there's some left, and I'm down for it. But you know, we gotta play the game. Let's give a big shout out. Wait, who is let me see who are. Okay. Big shout out to Adam. Started us off. We had Monkey King of Zealandia coming in with the New Zealand money. We had Box with the $2. And then Monkey King again. And of course, our sponsor of the stream, Boxy Boy. Thank you so very, very much for hanging out, guys. I hope you enjoyed every single moment of it. If you are new here, I am Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. I lost my voice because I did like too many hours yesterday. I'm live all the time. Come on through. And yeah, Colby was just talking about the Discord link. It is for members only. However, if you click to join the link before the stream is over, I will give you a day pass to all of the member activities. So come on through. Yeah, right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys so very, very much. Once again, that is Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, no push-ups for me. Peace. Oh, shit. Peace.